Kaden.
You saying drop a 16?
Remember that? Chill out, chill, mate, chillo, ski. Hey, listen, those were the days, boy.
What
Frick.
Graham?
Not even grime, man. Just that whole bag, eat out, get back. The whole era where everyone was playing all of that. Is it funky? Innit? It's funky.
It was funky
yeah,
still.
Yeah. So,
It was funky still.
but it was like the funky where like it was like the selectors, like the mic.
Yeah.
Thing still.
There's one you on TikTok actually. He started doing like a channel U sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the breakdown.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does the breakdown and
I've
stuff
seen
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
It's actually,
It's
and there's
really
another
good.
one. He's got like a cup of tea in it. We'll pop into the shot, while the song's playing. It's actually jokes. So it's actually jokes. Such a throwback. Man.
It's funny still.
Such a time.
I've been seeing a lot of like content just around how like there's like less creativity out there now. So like a lot of the music and stuff that's been made now, the reason why it sounds like a lot of it is like we're paying homage to like older tunes because people don't have the creativity to explore and
something
develop new sounds basically in it that people will take to or people will enjoy that are truly artistic in
I
that.
think music's definitely
like,
in an interesting space though, but I reckon like those artists that are like the opposite of that, in that like they're actually very original with that. You have to really like. It's one of them ones where it's like if you know, you know. There's bare artists that are out there, that's like nah. These are actually like very cold, but they're not the most popular artists and stuff. But for example, have you listened to Koji Radical's album?
No, I haven't listened to it.
Have you heard it? So he's an artist he's been doing music for time.
For time, yeah.
And obviously on a high level in it. But like that's like he's a type of rapper in it.
Yeah.
So certain people might not listen to it. But when you listen to it, in terms of what you're talking about, creativity, musically and all of that, it's very much that. But it won't get the same sort of limelight or than other people. And then it's better obviously other underground artists in it. That's like if you know sort of thing.
And you ain't got to talk about him specifically, but think about some of these other artists. Are you saying that it's an unexplored sound though? As in, or is it something that we've already heard before that we're basically hearing again?
But I think with music though, it's always like there's one book that I read. It's called Still Like an Artist, isn't it? And it talks about basically emulating and the fact that no ideas are completely original, like nothing new under the sun sort of thing, innit? 100%. So I think there will always be elements of, cool, this sounds like this or this sound is taken from this sound. But even when you think about like somebody's like flow or whatever, the way they rap, you can hear their influences in the way that they speak in it, or the way that they deliver whatever it is that they're delivering. But in terms of like what the sound is, like the sound, it is quite original in that sense.
Shout out Low Sounds because he does a lot of content around like how certain sounds were developed in it. So things like like when we talk about like house, grime, when all of these things, how these actual genres came around in it. And it's like they were all like exploration of like.
Have you watched the documentary?
Sounds. So like the garage one, no, Netflix. No.
They done the black music.
Yeah.
I remember talking about that a while ago.
Yeah, they done the. It was kind of funny though, because on the documentary,
OGs in it.
Yeah,
they were annoyed.
But it's like you can tell that
you can tell that they were annoyed.
That some people didn't want to give homage to other people. It was funny still, because you as like a viewer, you're watching it, and you're thinking, like. Let's say like these garage people, like some of them were saying that, like when grime came, they hated it. Like they were like, they were thinking 100%. Like, what is this? And they were kind of still kind of laughing at it to a degree in there, or that like, what do you rather get back? All that they were like, that.
They didn't like
what is this?
Kind of, but the maddest thing is
we loved it. You know what I mean?
No, but that one is probably paying more of a nod to like flipping garage and all that kind of stuff. You know when you get like the someone on the mic and stuff like the bag you don't get back. Like that's more like garage and what they used to do and all that kind of stuff.
So what they were laughing at was Funky House. So they were kind of like
Funky House,
because they were kind of like Funky House kind of made the sound unserious.
It's a lot more playful.
So it's more playful. So they were like
head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Swine flu. They were like all this rubbish, all that bro. Swine flu,
catch it, kill it.
I hear it though, but you see when there's a. I don't even want to. I'm not trying to disrespect no one in it, but you see when you're like jungle is massive, and you're making all them noises and that. Like, is that mad serious as well though? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not even.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Slaps, do you get what I'm trying to say though? Like, so even when we talk about like when we talk about garage, when we talk about grime, bare people used to make sounds. You know what I mean? Like, bro, very these genres in the UK is actually kind of mad. I feel like the only one, even to be fair, even we go to like Afro swing, is like everyone's making sounds. Obviously, that one's a bit more. Like that was a bit more vibey. You might think it's more vibey or whatever, but it's still like. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
The jungle one, the sound is it's kidding me still. Because I know the exact sound you're talking about in jungle. That one. And they're doing it bare. But also, I never really went parties with like to hear jungle.
Nah, we didn't. That was in our era.
Nah, do you know
Still,
what it is?
that was in our era.
I went like one of my in-laws, like her era was very much
jungle,
like drum and bass, like and garage, but like this is like when it was like kind of jungle and garage, but like so their play tunes I don't even know, but it slaps still. I can't even lie still. And the way they were vibes into it, you know my thing now. I've clocked it. Yeah, I've clocked myself. Like
it was a vibe.
It's how people are vibing to something that will make me
kind of feel it a bit.
Like connected. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If I get there, and this is your genre, and you lot just bare like, oh yeah, that's alright, man. Like you're not really feeling it. Like if I see someone feeling what they're connecting with, then
you're there.
I'll respect it more, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll like it, but I'll respect it more.
No, I do hear it.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I don't have one.
Well, eclectic.
Come on.
It's eclectic. To the point where I'm never allowed to have like the aux lead or anything because it'll go from like Ashake vibes to probably Paramore. Britney Spears. You're not even joking. Like NSYNC, or then it might go to like Motown, like Luther Vandross. Because my mix is, I listen to everything.
Okay.
Every day, everything.
Oh,
so my Spotify is really confusing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
What's that? Do you remember your top? I don't know. What's the top 5? What do you use Spotify? Yeah.
Oh, the artist.
The artist.
I think last year it was Ashake Burner Vibes. Yeah.
But when you said where you're from,
I'm trying to remember who else. I can't remember the other ones.
That doesn't sound that eclectic to me.
Yeah. But then it'll be something stupid. Like I listen to like sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit down, I listen to pop. Because I listened to pop when I was in primary school. I think like nostalgic music and that kind of thing. So sometimes it creeps in there.
Do you feel like that reminds you of like a simpler time and all that?
Yeah. I feel like it's really stupid. Everyone's got their different ways of like managing something.
Yeah.
But every now and again, I'm like, oh god, there's a lot going on. I'll put on like primary school music. And that was like, it was like S Club, Britney Spears. It would be a little bit of R&B, whatever kind of UK sounds were going on. But whatever was safe for them to play in school, that's what it reminds me of. So it was like whatever was at the school disco, Craig David, that kind of thing. So it was just something cheesy, but you're like, oh okay, I'm snapped out of. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
From S Club 7. You know the black
Bradley.
Yeah.
They started to get him like rapping and that. He wasn't always rapping. You know?
No, he wasn't.
Bro, there was always, even like Blue, the black kid, they got rapping as well.
Simon.
What was the other? Was
Blazing Squad?
Blazing Squad, yeah.
Blazing Squad, they got a black kid rapping as well.
Marcel.
Yeah.
There's a Love Island.
Love Island.
They can send everyone.
Love Island. I thought that was so deep though.
Oh yeah, back then.
Was the original? Was the deep song? And then I think when they did it, was like.
Yeah, I saw about the deep. I was like, of course. So you think about life.
Hey, my nostalgia playlist. Yeah, I'm so proud of it. So, I'm actually so proud of it.
I feel like it's gonna be bare for real.
I feel like it's so good. You know?
Even though that's that era that
about, so there was even like, you know, like there was better that though. There's better that on there.
I knew already.
There's even like, you know, like Uptown Girl.
Westlife slaps, man.
Busted.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't lie. I'll show you after.
Have you got like?
I'm very proud of it.
Have you got Avril Lavigne on it?
Avril Lavigne? Nah, I don't have Avril Lavigne. But I got stuff like do you remember Dancing in the Moonlight?
Yes, I love that song.
Everybody, you know that song. Hey, I'm too proud of that.
Maroon Vibe.
Vibe.
I'm gonna say Maroon Vibe. Maroon 5 and that. That's actually jokes. But yeah, what am I saying? I think so back in the day when I used to listen to, obviously because I was young or whatever, pop and all that. I remember that was the first time I felt like lit. But then now when I'm older, I kind of think like, raw, like why do we get the black guy to rap on that?
And then breakdance as well.
I think they were trying to sample a bit of urban.
Every
now and again, even with like Mystique, which is already R&B. But then they'll make Alicia do rapping. That sometimes didn't really work. But they were trying to be like, we got someone has to rap. And you can see it on X Factor back in the day. You know when they had a group and they just to pick the one that has to do the rapping, and it was always like, but why does anyone need to rap? Sometimes it's like it doesn't work.
I thought it was a formula.
Back then, how big hip hop was becoming, I felt like they were trying. If it's popular music, you kind of have to do.
And I feel like even artists who weren't in the black culture, they had like a black period.
Stuff like Pink.
People like Pink.
The R&B song.
Christina Aguilera.
I don't think
those
Pink
bare
had.
people.
I don't think Pink had a stint in the black thing. I think she was majority.
That was her sound.
Exactly.
And they moved her into pop.
Exactly.
But what people would say is that she used the sound to
get
blow.
big.
Yeah.
And then what she really wanted to do was
I don't
even
think
people
so,
like
you know, 'cause she spent so much time.
even people like what's his name now? Post
Justin?
Malone.
Who?
Post Malone.
Oh, and he
Okay,
wants to
yeah.
So
touch
he's come
me.
out
Yeah,
on
yeah.
some vibe.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you get what I mean?
yeah.
Obviously, he's blown off of that. Now he's completely different.
Completely
Justin
different,
Bieber,
yeah.
people talk about say, oh, Justin Bieber comes back when he's trying to. And
Nah,
then
Justin
he goes-
Bieber's one. I don't know.
People say that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't though. They
People
don't
say it.
Justin.
Even
fam,
Justin Timberlake.
What was he?
Timberlake's dipped in and
Yeah,
out.
Justin
of it,
Timberlake.
yeah.
That
People
one.
say it, people
But
say it.
Justin Bieber, yeah. What's his old
That's cold.
tape?
Journals.
Journals.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
they can't say he dipped it
Yeah.
still.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
foundation.
Yeah.
Journals. Nah, bro. Listen.
But
That
them-
year.
But them times, them man were owned by well, as in his
Oh yeah,
label and all that.
Label shoes.
Because that's
shoes.
another thing as well. Label obviously determines the direction that you
Yeah,
go in
yeah,
and
going.
stuff like that.
True.
Yeah.
What's the girl group? The Tidy
Tommy Kitten.
Tommy
Tommy
Kitten.
Kitten.
Yeah,
Fam,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
they had
that
Hey. But even that,
Hey.
the way they were dancing that video, yeah, it was kind of urban.
Yeah,
Like, the way they were
yeah,
dancing,
it didn't
make
I
sense.
remember they were banging. I remember that video.
It's actually better that Sugar Babes. There's actually
Yeah,
There was bare groups. There was that
bad
era in it.
Was that era,
But
bad
it's
girl
got,
bands.
now there's
girl
no
bands.
groups, you know.
No.
Yeah. They're
There's
coming
no
back though. What's
groups.
that? Flow.
Flow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Flow.
doing their thing. Yeah.
There's another group as well. They're slightly. What's
It's
the
last
hard
group-
for groups because they always break up.
Yeah,
Everyone wants
it's
to
true.
be
Everyone
like
wants to
the
be the
leader.
leader.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
true.
The I feel like the group that's most recently lasted was Western.
Oh, yeah.
for real.
Because
Yeah,
outside in terms of the culture as well.
Yeah,
And
NSG.
outside of that,
NSG.
Oh, NSG,
oh, yeah,
NSG
as well,
NSG.
NSG as well,
Yeah.
NSG. But like after, like aside of like outside of them,
Yeah, there's not
true.
groups like that.
do you know what I
But
mean?
at
And there's
the-
a certain way you got to do groups now. You can't
Yeah.
do the whole group thing. Was that you're doing like everyone's still got to be very like as an individual basically. So almost like like the Spice Girls blueprint, where
Yeah.
everyone was
Oh,
so
they have their
individual.
own-
Yeah, they
that
have
it's
their
kind
own
of like
sound, own style.
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
really like a group. It's kind of like you're listening to like a collection of
Yeah.
sick individuals. Do you
Yeah,
get? And
yeah,
that's kind of like what like I feel like NSG and the Westerns and all that kind of stuff.
It's
If you
basically
do
what
the
One
thing where it's-
Direction had before they broke up.
Yeah,
One
One
Direction.
Direction.
They all had their own style, and
It's,
then
you know, it's mad how big they were.
They
you
were
know?
very big. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah, they
insane.
yeah,
probably the
yeah,
biggest band in the past decade.
Yeah.
definitely.
Before they
still.
broke up.
It's kind
yeah.
of,
I
it's
feel-
kind
I
of
feel
mad,
like
and they're
that's-
like it's
they're British,
not
yeah.
it's not something
They'll-
we see that often. Still,
Yeah.
I think it's the machine though. The machine that pushes you. Because
Yeah.
to be fair, we say that, but like K-pop.
that's
Big.
Bro.
their thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of don't get
Yeah.
that though.
Don't get it.
I
Yeah.
don't-
I don't get it.
But it's
still.
big.
Yeah, it's
It's
mad.
very,
But you know
very
what it is
big.
as well. You see like in Korea, I feel like they got like drip, like big drip.
Yeah.
So even when I see like, or when I've seen, I don't know nothing about them if I'm
Yeah,
being
I
real
don't
yet.
know
But
either.
even when I've just caught a glimpse of it, they look like big drip. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
So it's kind of like I can understand like the fandom going brazen
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
because
I've seen Korean everything though. I've seen Korean Afrobeats.
Yeah,
I've
I've
seen
seen the
Korean
piano one
I've seen
recently as well.
Korean
Korean grime.
Korean
seen,
R&B is quite nice.
Oh seriously?
Listen to it.
there
Yeah,
was a
it's
hey, there was a time,
Very
where
soulful.
everyone was talking about, it's Pete still. It's Pete.
just
Very
jokes,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see when I watch,
Very
you see when I watch like grime, different countries, I can't.
That's
Yeah,
very
it's
funny.
funny.
still.
I'm actually like,
Very
what have
funny.
you got the wheel up for? Like,
Yeah. I remember there was
It's just, aye.
There was an Indian one, didn't
Yeah,
it?
And there's
yeah.
also like there's other ones as well. There's Australian ones. There's,
Yeah, yeah. The
obviously
Australian
those
ones.
are easier ones to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
But the ones where they're speaking in a different language, there was like I think one in even Tokyo or something like that,
Mm.
and they were going, and then the guy says something there, and then he just like jacking it, started
Yeah,
jacking it.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, I actually want to know what he said.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
get? But
Yeah, it's funny still.
It's
But you
funny
know,
still.
sometimes it's hard because, especially the grime one, it just sounds like they're imitating.
It's just,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's an imitation.
You
Exactly.
get me?
And-
But so it's like even without the
was that?
language, it just sounds like UK grime.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
explain
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but because it doesn't sound like this is totally different.
Mm.
And that actually, like, that's kind of like full circle back to like the initial point in terms of like all the music now literally just sounds like no one's really actually exploring
Mm.
and creating a new sound that's going to bring forth a new
Mhm.
genre.
Yeah.
Because you say everything's been seen and done and all that kind of stuff and it's cyclical, but grime was new,
Yeah.
garage
Right.
was new.
But they all come off
No,
of
but they
something. and they're
came
all
from
inspired by
everything
something.
came from something.
But that's
though.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it comes from something, but it's exploring something else and
Mm.
they create something new.
Are you talking about there's no new genres, basically?
Yeah,
I guess the
basically.
newest one is like drill.
First.
I would say here.
yeah.
Because right, like,
UK drill,
UK
fair,
drill
fair.
really. But then remember that the
And then
back
there'll
to
be
the
the
point.
offshoots from Joe as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back to the point where you were saying about I can't remember what his name is though, but he was talking about how after like political events, music is that what you're talking about? Before
Low.
I can't remember. I saw the video the other day, but he's your brethren. Yeah. So he's talking about how after like political events, there's usually like a change of genre or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe soon when something
Well, a
changes,
lot has
maybe
happened,
they'll
bro.
be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
do you get what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? A lot has happened though, to be fair. But yeah, fair enough.
No,
But yeah, it's just an interesting
I
point
can't
though.
see in what I know. I can't see a new genre coming like.
But then like, so we're not in music, so we're consumers of music as well. So for example, if we were to sit with somebody who is a producer or whatever, they might be able to say, actually,
I can see this coming up.
this is coming. This is now
fair.
the new sound in whatever, and it's gonna be the biggest. And they can point towards this artist is now. Do you get what I mean? Because we're consumers, isn't it?
Yeah. But to be fair, someone was saying that a few years ago with like Leanne Havas, Ray, Olivia Dean.
Yeah.
Probably 3 years ago, these are going to be like, this is like what the sound's going to be. And he was kind of like, maybe, because they got their audience and they did well, but they weren't like massive. And you see now, it's impossible to get a ticket to see Ray. Olivia Dean sold out O2 or something. And it's like, they're taking over. And it's interesting because that's a very Amy Winehousey kind of sound, which had its time for a little bit. Then she passed away, and then no one was really doing what she was doing because it's quite hard to follow that footstep. But then now I feel like that sound is definitely back.
Coming back, it's true.
And everyone loves it.
It's true. The Ray and Olivia Dean. Olivia Dean's, I didn't know about her till TikTok.
Yeah, it's massive.
So TikTok, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm listening to her album now.
I've never listened to her, but did she bring out an album recently?
Yeah.
And
so I haven't heard it.
It's like 4 songs were in top 10.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen of Reese. So that's how I know her name. So I've never heard her or anything like that. So now it's like, okay, after this convo, I was like, all right.
Another one that's crazy is Ray.
Yeah,
Ray's had such an up and down, but then now she's really,
She was doing Afro swing.
Yeah,
but
then
it's actually crazy.
So if you was to say, someone like, see how you speaking about Pink.
Yeah.
If I was to say, someone that's used something to blow, and then now they do.
Someone would say that about her.
I would say that about her.
Someone would say that about her still.
I'm not even in a bad way, by the way. It's more just that she'll lend herself to whatever's like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
Like, play to your strengths.
And to
like,
be
I'm
fair,
sick of this, and I can do it on this or that or this. But this is what my actual
to
creative.
be fair,
output is.
you could also just be like, I want to make different type of music now as well. Like you
Yeah,
evolve
you
in
can
it.
change
But
your
she's
mind.
been quite public with issues that she's had with her labels and stuff over the years. And I feel like she's been probably controlled more than she's had the control. I think.
Because
I feel like now she's been doing her own thing. She's really come alive the past couple of years. But I feel like she used to make loads of videos back in the day. I used to see it sometimes online. It's like where she's crying and stuff, talking about feeling trapped in these deals. And if they're trying to put you in certain genres, that's not where you might like listening to it, but you don't feel it's authentic to you. But sometimes when you don't sign these things, you don't always know what you're signing. A lot of them have gone through it, you know?
It's true. Yeah, Ray's one is. When I look now, it's kind of.
He's really big.
If I search my phone, I will find an old school Ray track.
I'm just thinking about Coach Funds.
Do you know what I mean? It's so. But her. I don't know if there's anyone else like that though. That's because she's massive. But
Clear Soul's not as big. Clear Soul still is very.
The thing about her though is that she's been true to that.
Yeah,
but
one
thing is that she's like, so for example, I was thinking about so the Channel U guy I was talking about, one of the songs he put was Tiny Temper and
Clear Soul, yeah.
And I was like, raw.
It's true.
Like that's Clear Soul. Tears that come from my eyes. But Clear Soul is very big in that, like she has her own her complete own separate thing. She's not like a Ray or whatever, but she has her own world. That's very core. And she's stuck to
what's her group called again? So
yeah.
They're
peaks though.
I thought their name was Salute.
So did I. For time. Even just now as I said Salute.
I'm not gonna lie. I slightly knew the name, but I didn't want to say it.
When he said it.
But even with them, it's like for a long time it was like you didn't know who they were or whatever. You could tell by their voices. Then they don't put their stuff on. Well, certain things aren't on like normal streaming platforms. You have their own website. And stuff like that.
Download it from the website.
It's very core and like intentional about not being like, I guess,
too mainstream.
Stereotypical industry.
One thing I have been seeing though, just in terms of where grime is now, I've been seeing a lot of grime artists like, even like paying homage to like Christianity in their bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like even like I watched like that Red Bull Mike Flex. You know the thing that Manga does, and it's like sometimes randomly I just catch something, or like a lot of their ciphers and freestyles that they be doing and all that kind of stuff, and they'll be saying certain things, and I'm like, right, boy.
Oh, sure.
And do you know what it reminds me of? You know when we was younger, I remember like at one point, like one of my brothers was like, like Chipmunk was talking about, I walk with the Lord.
It's so funny. You know, you know when we were younger, we used to love that sort of stuff. I can't remember what video it was specifically, but I remember like my auntie being like, what is this? I was like, no, he said pray. Like, so he prays like, what does that mean?
That's how you, the whole thing that I pray for
your
downfall.
You just guy, bro. Like, you pray, bro. Because he said pray. He's the pray to.
Man, we probably, the end of the bar, probably you pray for his downfall. That's probably the end of it.
That's actually crazy.
Nah, you know what's funny about the Red Bull thing? I kind of don't understand. Like, I enjoy watching it, yeah, but I'm like, oh, like, I wonder what they're getting out of this. Because it doesn't seem that big.
No, but it's the love for the art, bro, and that's what I like about it the most.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's because it's less about the show, but more so it's a Red Bull show. Do you get me? So it's like I'm thinking.
Oh, what is Red Bull getting out of it?
Yeah, like,
exposure, innit? It's like bare people watch it, innit? It's like
is it like?
Oh yeah.
I feel like they have like a core thing as well, innit?
Really?
Because
I only see it on TikTok.
And there's a massive resurgence of grime. So I feel like they're. Do you know what it is? Red Bull,
to be fair, and they do culture clash as well.
Exactly, and that's what I was literally about to say. Red Bull, are kind of like positioning themselves to be anything to do with culture. Not necessarily just black culture, other cultures as well. So the other day, like I was with the kids or whatever, and we were just having like a night in or whatever, and I was just looking at different things to watch in it, and I didn't want to watch something that was just like, we've watched enough films, we've watched enough cartoons, all that kind of stuff. Like, let me watch something that we can mutually watch, and I'll even if I might not enjoy it bare, there's something I'll get from it. So I ended up coming up across like the dance. They do some dance battle thing, innit? And like,
I've seen that. It's funny still.
Exactly. Well, I even put one on my Instagram story. There was one where it's like, what was the song again? And the girl was dancing to it, yeah. And bro, like, you know, like obviously when people do dance, it's like they move a lot. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, like normally, like in real life, like it's like a little vibe, like you're not doing bare like movements and that, innit? Do you get what I'm trying to say? But it's like when I was watching that, like I was busting up. At one point I had to turn it off though, because I felt like my daughter was getting influenced. We did the same thing. I was like, listen, that's how you dance, man. That's how you dance in real life.
So funny. The influence is sort of break dancing. It's actually so funny.
Nah, I was like, please stop, man. I was actually like, stop.
What shows do you not watch? What type of shows do you not watch?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what? Someone else go.
Do you mean like series and stuff like that?
Anything. What's your go-to?
We've actually, so now we've started watching stuff. So, you know, like I've been trying to watch Peaky Blinders with my wife here for like 3 years. But now we're actually married and we live together. So we've cleared Peaky Blinders now. We're actually starting The Wire now.
Oh wow.
You're starting The Wire?
Yeah, we're starting The Wire now. And you know, so funny about The Wire as well, because like, you know, like that's one of those shows where for years everyone's been telling me watch it. Watch it, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go and start The Wire. Yeah. But I like those types of shows, innit? So you know, like police shows, crime. Then also like, you know, like things like, bro, in uni I used to watch The Big Bang Theory bare. The Big Bang Theory, I used to watch that bare. And then I also I didn't get into Modern Family, but I started. I knew it was good.
Hey, I'm not a kind of comedy. Anything comedy, I do not watch.
Because you don't think it's funny.
I just don't like. Even I remember I was chatting to you about it. Any live comedy, when Kevin Hart went to the O2, I was like, it's not my thing. I just. But Modern Family,
It's actually funny.
No, I'll actually just be in my bed laughing bare because it's so dumb.
Would you like The Office as well then?
I've never watched it.
I didn't get into The Office.
I've never watched
The Office
again.
Office is good. Yeah.
You know, so fun because Modern Family reminds me of British humour. I can't explain it.
It's
very dry.
And that's The Office as well.
So Live at the Apollo, that's something weird. I just used to watch that. I need to go.
Oh, is it?
Like,
so you used to go, you need to go?
No, I need to go.
Oh.
It's so funny, because it's kind of like, not guilty pleasure, innit? But it's one of the ones that I used to watch, and I used to find funny.
I
wouldn't be like, oh yeah, let's watch Live at the Apollo with other people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just not that kind of vibe.
Also, because sometimes what you find funny, other people don't find funny.
It just makes it annoying, because now you think my sense of humour is jazz, but this is only one small section of it.
And also, don't spoil my enjoyment.
I
watch this. Like, let's all laugh. Like, everyone laugh.
Have you guys watched Friends?
My sister loves Friends.
I love Friends. And then people watch other people and they're like, why do you watch this? It's so rubbish. And I'm
my sister, like, that's one of those shows where she will just always watch it.
Yeah.
There's no, she'll always watch Friends. She's watched it, she'll continue to watch it, always watch it.
It was cool though, it was cool. Ore, because Ore's into TV and film. We're going back, I was like, this is like, to me, it's very mid.
Okay.
Not to say that, like, but for how big it is, I was like,
you don't get it.
I don't actually get it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what it is? Back in the day,
I don't get it.
Back in the day, I used to watch it, innit? But to be honest with you, I'm like, and I always try and find out like where someone's at before I say this stuff, innit? But I just say it anyway. But fam, the stuff that man's found out about Friends since, oh god,
Oh, is it?
Help me, bro. Like,
What?
as in, like, when I used to watch it, yeah, like, and I used to watch it religiously. It's just the
Yeah.
fact that it's like, if
It's
you
on.
for some reason, if you're
It's
at
on,
home and you haven't
yeah.
gone to school,
Yeah.
like it's like Fraser,
Oh,
Fraser.
yeah,
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 Fraser.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sex and the
Friends,
City.
Yeah.
Sex and
what's
the
the other
City.
one? Yeah, to be fair, I don't usually see that one.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Nah, the
Everybody has Raymond.
Yeah, everyone
Do you know
loves
what's
Raymond.
so mad?
Everyone
Yeah.
loves Raymond.
But there's another
You
one.
know,
There's
I
another
thought
one.
that they stole for everyone hates Chris.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh, but then that came out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Literally. I was like, oh, now what do you
But
people
there's,
do?
not How I Met Your Mother. There's another one. Two men and
Oh,
the
2.5
chick
Men.
Pacey
2.5
Two and a
Men.
Half Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
That
all
was
of them
funny
shows.
sometimes.
That was funny, yeah,
I never
yeah.
used to really watch that one. It's kind of, I
Yeah,
thought that was kind of dead, to be honest. But it's like, if like all of those things would just be lining up, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
watching it, innit? So I know a lot about the characters, who the characters are, and da da da.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, it's just when I got older and I heard like they used to like on set, like they actually used to do like a. I don't even want to say it, to be honest with you. But it's like,
I'm curious
they,
now.
no, they,
So,
no,
yeah,
but
just-
basically they used to do like, I can't remember what it was. It was kind of like they'll say like Hell Satan or something like that, innit? And they'll do like a they'll do like a little. It's so left in it. It's so left,
why?
bro. It's
Was
so
that-
left.
was that- no, that was-
Honestly,
Like, you know what?
honestly, like,
Wait, do you
listen,
know why it's so? Because what has the show?
That's
got
what
to
people say with you then.
bro.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying to you, bro. I don't know why.
No, wait. We need to get that source.
Alright, if
Oh,
I send it to you,
No, I
to
said
you,
this. I see that source still.
no, you go down a rabbit hole. You start,
Yeah.
they'll start involving Doja Cat and all that kind of stuff, and start moving
God.
crazy, bro.
Doja Cat.
They'll start moving crazy, bro. I'm showing you, bro.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
sometimes when I see these things, yeah, like as the video starts or whatever, yeah, I'm kind of like, let me just stop, man. Because I actually don't want to know.
Rabbit hole.
But to be fair, yeah, anyway.
I didn't used to. So my thing was very much black sitcoms.
Yeah, all of
so
them.
Yeah.
101,
Yep.
All of us.
all
Yeah.
of
The
us,
Parkers.
the Park. What? Moesha.
Yeah.
That was
I never
my
used to
thing,
watch
kids.
Moesha,
Oh,
so-
Moesha, I banged it. I used to bang it.
Hey,
I used to watch All of Us.
Yeah.
No, wait. All of us is the Will Smith
Half
one,
and
innit?
half.
Yeah.
Nah, so
All of Us is the Will
I used to watch Flex
That's
Ocean
Lisa Ray.
one.
Yeah, all of us was
Yeah.
like
One-on-one.
later on.
Yeah, that was a bit
One-on-one.
later on, yeah.
Yeah, one of them was cold.
One- one-on-one.
Best theme
Cold.
tune.
One
Yeah.
was cold.
101 was
There was,
Fam,
there was
Fresh
you see
Prince.
that era there, yeah? There was so many
There's
of those
so
good
many.
shows.
so
Yeah,
many.
Yeah.
So many of those good ones.
Yeah, I
Oh,
watched
of
Yeah.
it.
course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
I
course.
never.
They put it on
like, obviously, I
Netflix,
watch
yeah,
it,
put it on
yeah,
Netflix.
but
There was-
I'll watch Desmond's, but I wouldn't watch it religiously like
Aye.
Fresh
There's
Prince.
another
Yeah.
African thing.
There was Desmond, there was one time where my mom would always be like, yeah, Desmond's a jump
back
down.
up, yeah,
yeah.
She used to like bang it like every time. Yeah, just. And there was a time when I can't remember.
Trouble.
There was
Oh.
Trouble.
Trouble.
When Trouble went, all of them went.
Yeah, all
But
of them went. Yeah.
with Desmond, there was a time when I think bare family at my house one summer. Can't remember why. So me and my mum, we were downstairs, like, because all the rooms were occupied. Me and my mum would just chill downstairs till late. Bro, we were just watching Desmond's. It was just because it was on Netflix at a point.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there,
I
but
don't
it
know
was
either,
there. Bro, we were binging it.
Yeah.
Just binge. It's actually so fun.
Yeah.
I feel like 2020, Netflix flooded with all those shows.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
kinda
yeah,
quietly
they
took them off again.
My wife and kids.
Yeah.
Aye, you can't mention these shows without mentioning my wife.
think
Yeah.
it's too good.
I think it's
Yeah.
Fresh Prince and my wife and kids are
Yeah,
legendary.
they're too
Yeah,
good
yeah.
still.
Like
So
they are
Yeah.
Yeah.
the top two.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
there
Fresh
isn't.
Prince, yeah.
I don't
It's so
think there
easy
is.
to rewatch
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
For me, Fresh Prince is number one.
Yeah.
I think so. I
Fresh
think
Prince-
because it's the
yeah.
blueprint. Innit?
Fresh
You
Prince
know
is
what I'm
number one
saying?
for me still.
But,
it had-
but
yeah.
my wife and kids is a
Wife and
close
Kids
second
is
because
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
close
yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's close
it
second.
changed the game. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I say it to my children now. I'm like, nah.
However, all of that sort of
Open
stuff.
the door,
Hey.
close the door.
Everyone
I
does it
am
and
so
everyone has to
sorry.
finish it as well.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It's
We
crazy.
do like triple bye bye birdie.
Yo,
and that.
yeah. Aye, that video is so funny to me still.
Listen,
So yeah, man. I think those top two, like, do you get what I'm trying to say? And it's clear,
Yeah, it's
innit?
clear.
I don't
so you
think
said
can
that
argue
you
it.
do with music. So I don't necessarily have the thought processes of something's wrong, something going on, and I'm gonna kind of go back to my childhood.
Yeah.
But see
yeah.
all of those shows,
Yeah.
like I will literally go and type in "Watch Everybody Hates Chris" online for free, and then I'll find it and I'll just watch Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
Or even like some of the, you know, with Disney when Disney first came out,
Yeah.
bro, I'll watch bare of the old school Disney stuff like on a
Yeah.
random. So I watch like
Yeah, yeah.
Hercules.
I need to watch
Goofy
Hercules
movie,
again.
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Like till this day, like I'll just watch all of those
Yeah.
things. But I guess it might be some sort of okay. I'm trying to go back to my childhood for
Yeah, apparently
some
it's
sort
like a
of,
big millennial thing that we do where we kind of not always consciously go back to things from our childhood. So sometimes it's the shows we watch, sometimes it's music we listen to, sometimes it's like where we want to shop. It's like silly things, or sometimes it might be a brand that we buy, not because we think it's the best brand, but our parents bought that brand and it's just like committed to it. It's little things, and sometimes it's like a weird comfort that we get from it without even realizing we're getting that comfort from it.
Yeah, it's like we talked about with when you listen to like primary school music.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah. Fair enough. Still.
What everybody hates Chris.
Do you know what it is though?
All the time, I'll just watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes, because I think that also plays into why I'd want to watch like Mufasa and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because Lion King is like my top one film of all time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then, bro, like the other day I saw like the Tiny Desk. It's so mad I hadn't come across it before.
Oh, the Lion King.
The Lion King one, and I can't lie, I was a bit disappointed, man. Do you know why? Yeah, because
who was doing it though?
No, it was the one of the ladies that's been doing it from the inception.
So
was
the people that actually did the original.
No.
They changed
the musical people.
Oh, it's the musicals.
It's the musicals, the Lion King musical, isn't it? But one thing I clocked here is like, and this is the point I'm getting at here, is like, so you know the song "He Lives in You"? They changed it to "They Live in You."
Why did you do that?
And I'm just like, I can't lie, it kind of ruined it. Like,
No, 100% is
kind of like, and then there's other parts of it that they'll change as well, so it's in line with that and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it kind of just sounded more like the spiritual thing rather than
he.
Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? And obviously, fair enough. Like
they're trying to open it up, basically.
Nah, do you know what it is? It's not really fair enough, innit? But it's fair enough, but it's not fair enough, innit? As in, like,
anything that you try to change from my original, from what I know, it's gone.
It's just
gone.
like,
Anything
it's
from my,
not
what else did they do that to? They done a rerun of a show, and they changed the song, and I was like, I don't watch this anymore. I can't remember what it was, but they changed that.
When they tried to do it with Power.
Yeah, I remember when they tried to do it with
Power.
Power.
Back.
And the producer was like, he's like, you look at it, man.
Yeah, Power. I didn't really like. I didn't care about it. The theme song. The theme song.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't care, man.
Oh, fair enough.
This is a big rich
you know me, you know shows. I'll skip every single show.
I do hear you.
Oh,
Every show, I skip
the is not all the time.
I had to get straight to
Godfather of Harlem. That intro's alright.
That was good. That was good.
Actually,
that
intro is actually alright.
That was. But even then, I fast forward.
No, if I'm binging the show back to back, do you think I care about the intro, bro? Like, show me what happened in the last episode.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But but obviously, what we're talking about, you know, like the black sitcom stuff.
Yeah.
Like part of like it was the intro. It's like you'd sing along to.
That was actually
Proud Family.
That was Proud Family.
I mean, all
but
of that.
back then was terrestrial TV, so I couldn't skip it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that my family, we didn't get that Sky full fast forward. Sky Plus. We weren't one of them families that had that.
Remember NTL?
No, you know.
Damn.
Oh yeah, NTL.
Do you remember NTL?
Yeah.
Life good, bro.
I
had cable from time, bro. I had NTL. NTL was like
the red box.
Yes, he did it. I really did not, fam. What?
Do you know what NTL is?
No.
Oh, bro.
NTL is like, you know, like how you got Freeview,
Yeah.
But then imagine you add a few extra channels to Freeview,
yeah.
so it's much cheaper than cable, but it's still you still have to pay a monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for example, you've got Cartoon Network, but you can only watch Cartoon Network from like a certain
time,
time, and then it locks off at like 7 p.m. or something.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it was
It was
weird.
crazy still. It was crazy. But listen, that little bit of joy I got in my life, I was so
Get
happy.
how you live it still.
What? I was so happy
Get how
still.
you live it, bro.
It was good still.
So you made it this far in the pod and you haven't liked, you haven't commented, you haven't subscribed yet. Come on, man. You know what to do.
Cool. Let's get some testimonies. We like to do testimonies every week.
Yeah.
Shine a light on what God is doing in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is that it's funny because today I didn't end up going to church and I couldn't make it to church because of time and stuff like that. But I tuned into a home church, and it wasn't. It was kind of.
What do you mean your church just online?
No, so I tuned into our church, as in
our
home church.
Yeah.
I couldn't tune into our my online stuff. The times just didn't match up in terms of leaving and stuff like that. And I missed like beginning like a chunk of the sermon. Yeah. But from where I caught, I was just like, I'm so happy that we have a good foundation. And it was Auntie T that was preaching.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, this is actually good.
Yeah.
And obviously it's good, isn't it? But like, that is it's a product of being part of like a good unit.
Yeah.
And then when you look at all of us and a lot of what we do, where we go and all that sort of stuff, that's the foundation of it. And not many people have that foundation in it. So I thank God that we are from there.
Solid,
we have a good solid foundation still.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
No, amen, man. Mine is, do you know what it is? Because I remember I was talking to one of my brethren and he asked me something here and I was like, and there was something about faith. And I was like, fam, you know, I'm kind of tired right now. Like, kind of thing. I ain't got, and I just think there's bare times here when I don't do what I need to. But I'm like, you know what? God is still faithful regardless. Like, I'm actually like happy that even when I don't do what I need to do, it's like, God is still like, yeah, I still got you. Because bro, sometimes I'm just tired or I ain't got energy, and that's not to say that I should continue being tired and have no energy. But when I do, I'm just grateful that like I'm not locked in to that state. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, you know what? No, I'm thankful for that one still.
Oh, that's good, man. Thank God.
No, thank God. For me, it was I had a conversation the other day, and I remember leaving the conversation just thinking, raw, but like, you know, sometimes when you're like, I'm not into conspiracies in it, but I'll take it in it and just see it and then make my mind up on it and whether I believe in it or not. But there's other stuff that's just not. I shouldn't have opened with conspiracy, to be honest. But there's other stuff that's just not conspiracy in it. It's about facts and history and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like biblical facts and history and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like sometimes when I talk about certain things, yeah, I just feel like, raw, like how come people don't know this? Or I feel like the wool's been pulled over like bare people's eyes or whatever. But I had a conversation with someone that I was so like. Let me not, because they'll probably what is that I was saying. I didn't expect that from you, but do you know what it is? I just didn't expect like, and then we're having conversation and we're kind of going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, in terms of not back and forth as in arguing, but as in adding on to each other's points or whatever. And then we started talking about like Constantine and things like that. And I was actually like, fair enough, man. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? And basically, what it just made me think, especially with a lot of the stuff that I've been taking in recently, it's just like unsuspecting people basically coming out and saying like they're for Christ or the influence that Christ has had in their life, or the fact that they're changing like how they go about things, or just that general wave. You know, when we talk about the quiet revival and all that kind of stuff, that whole general wave, and I feel like I've been exposed to it a lot more, like let's say recently or whatever it is, innit? So I'm just thanking God for that. In terms of like, as much as like something that really grieves, man, is like how far, like how messed up the world is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So to see that, like those glimpses of hope, essentially, I'm just thanking God for that, to be honest.
Thank God.
Cool.
I'd say for me, recently I started getting into journaling. I'd done it before, and then I sort of not been consistent. And it's been like a weird few months, I think, with work and stuff. And I think working on something that was quite exposing, I thought, oh, the next thing will be really straightforward. And it hasn't been straightforward. And then I started to feel like, okay, this is not kind of going as I thought it was going to go. And not because I've done something for it to have a certain end product, but it was more kind of, I've never had an issue in all my career navigating my industry. And then suddenly I've done something that was big and I've got loads of issues navigating my industry. And to the point where I was just like, oh, I don't even know what I'm meant to be doing with myself anymore. I felt quite lost. And I'd still talk to friends and family, but I really felt lost. And I thought, okay, got become more prayerful, because I think sometimes I lack with that. And I got into journaling. I just saw a podcast clip on social media of someone else talking about journaling and sort of writing down their worries and everything else and being really honest with themselves and then turning those worries into prayers. And that's something I probably haven't done before. And then I started to do that. And it's only been recent I started to do that. And it was like a week after I started doing it. So there's like, started doing it a couple of weeks ago. So I'll say like this past week, I've just started to see one by one so many of those things
pick off,
just flip. And some of those things were like big problems, and they just suddenly was like, oh, suddenly the problem was solved. And some of them were like financial, some of them were like career, like what am I doing? And even with TV, particularly where I was feeling like a bit of a crossroads, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to do something different for a little while. So I started applying for like other jobs. Like I redid my CV. I started looking at like what I've done before in the past, like head office for retail and all that kind of stuff. Can I go back into that? And then take stock again in the new year, like what I want to do going forward. And that wasn't what I wanted to do, but I felt like I just don't want to feel like I'm doing nothing. I didn't want to feel stuck. I didn't like the feeling of being stuck. So I applied for loads of stuff. I got some interviews. I got offered a job. And I got offered a job that was in like a retail head office. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I've gone from doing this big thing for Netflix to I'm going to work. And it was just a really weird feeling. It happened so fast because I just didn't want to feel like in this weird crossroads. And then the following day, I had like a string of emails, contacts from people in TV. Hey, what are you up to? Are you free? We've got all these projects. I'm like, what the hell? And it was like, it was so weird. And then I got invited to a screening that I went to yesterday for Sinners. And I watched Sinners already a few times. But then this one was a screening, and then there was a Q&A with Ryan Coogler. I was like, oh my God, definitely want to go.
Yeah.
And then I got introduced to him.
Mm.
And the thing is, if I was like checked out of the TV world for a bit, I wouldn't even have gone to that event. So I would feel like I don't want to be around all of that when I'm not feeling in the right space. And it was so weird how many things happened this week that have like addressed some issues I've had like kind of a few weeks ago that I wrote about that I've experienced in for a while. Some of them have been long term, some of them have been short term. And it's like one by one, almost like being honest with my worries and then putting it out there, writing about it, praying about it. Like this past week has just been amazing. In many ways. Like I feel lighter. And it's not like the superficial. Also, it was nice to go to these nice things, but I just feel better about a lot of things. And that feeling I haven't felt for a while. And that's for me was like, just give thanks, obviously. It was like, it's weird. And I was telling my brothers, and they were like, what's wrong with you? I don't talk about this stuff. And then I was like, no, honestly, guys, you just try it. And then they was like, whatever. But it's been good. It's been really good.
God is all, bro. Thank God for that.
Yeah,
Great still.
That's lit, man. Alright, cool. So we're gonna get into the game now, yeah.
Into the game.
Yeah, man.
And essentially, what the game is, I'm gonna give you a hot take.
Okay.
Yeah, which is basically a statement, and you have to defend that statement as if it was your own statement, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you've got a minute to do it. You've got no thinking time, but you've got maximum of a minute to deliver your argument, basically, or your point of view. Yeah?
Okay.
Timer will be here, so you can keep an eye.
Okay.
Cool. So today, I'm going to make it related to TV and film, actually. So let me do,
I feel like I'm going to flop this.
No. Do you know what? Okay, cool. Because we've been giving people 2 minutes, so I'll give you one to start off light, yeah? So, if you use your phone once in the cinema, you should be kicked out with no refund.
All right. 3.
I have to defend this.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Because with cinema is like an immersive experience. You're meant to be paying respect to the project that's on screen, for the work that many people have done. So you shouldn't be on your phone at all. So I do believe that once you have gone to the second screen, this is what we like to call it, you've obviously got no respect and no interest in the film at hand. So you should leave, because if you've paid good money and you respect the artists, you respect the actors, you respect the craft, then you should give that respect by putting your phone down in your pocket or in your bag for the hour and a half, 2 hours that the film lasts for.
Okay, fair. It's convincing.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll kick you out. I'll kick you out. I'll do it still.
Alright, cool. And then let me see. I'm trying to think. Have you lot got any that you wanna?
I don't want him.
What's the?
Alright, cool. If you ain't got one, I'll give one.
I've got one, but I don't know if it's good. I'll say it.
What is it?
Because that's it, then he's gonna be thinking
it.
about it.
Get the time ready, and then just say yes or no.
Alright, cool. And then just stop me, if it's not good enough.
Yeah, and then I'll add if.
Alright, cool. If my friends do not promote my work, then they hate me. Defend that. 3, 2, 1.
Because why are you happy to promote the work of others, but you don't promote your friends' work? You know, I seen you sort of posting these celebrities, these footballers, these artists, you don't know them, but when it's me doing something and we're meant to be friends, we know each other for years, you're not posting it. So I do feel like, I do question whether you hate me, because what is stopping you from, it takes 2 seconds to promote the work I'm doing. And you can go about your day, you can go back to your TikToks, you can go back to Nara Smith, whatever it is you're doing. TikToks, cooking videos, dancing videos. You've got time for lots of that stuff, but my work suddenly is invisible. You scroll past, you don't even like it. So, yeah, I do think, you must hate me. There must be a bigger issue, because you don't know other people, but you promote their work. But you know me, you don't promote my work. It says something bigger about our friendship.
But what if I don't see your post?
Definitely seen it.
What's your actual thoughts on that?
No, I don't think I think people can do what they want with their social media. Okay. I feel like what I've realised as we got older, is I stopped putting expectation on other people to do anything. Because you just hurt you hurt your feelings. It's complicated. People are complicated people, and for whatever reason, people are quite particular about how they use social media, how they, how they even support their friends. I've got lots of friends that have started things online, and people will just not. They just won't engage with it. And I think it takes like 2 seconds to put, but then some people just feel a way of like not doing it. But also there's been times where like people I don't know that well have like DM'd me saying, hey, can you support this? And I'm like, I'm sort of like, I would have done, but now when you've asked me to, I feel like it's a bit weird. And I suddenly overthink it. And then I'm like, I'm probably overthinking it. It's not that deep. But when it's sort of like, can you
like
put
a
this?
friend? Or
No, not really.
Just someone random.
But sometimes I don't mind just sharing people's stuff, what they're up to. But I feel like when it's then placed on you, you start to feel like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think it's weird when people who actively use social media all the time, but deliberately don't share their friends' stuff. I do think sometimes what's the thought process behind that? You know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? A lot of the time, when I go on social media, I don't actually see everything that's going on. So, like, there's been times where you lot have said something, and I'll be like, oh, like, what's going on or whatever. Because the way I use social media nowadays is so fragmented. Like, it's like, I pick up my phone sometimes, I might click on 2 stories or whatever, then I might just doom scroll off the back of one funny video that's been posted. So all I'm watching is reels of like pranks. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But then, so that's why I asked the question about what if we didn't see it?
No, and I think some people overanalyze social media. There's some things that I haven't seen. Sometimes as well, because I've not got OCD, but sometimes I like to clear my stories. So if I haven't cleared them, I just tap.
I know you mean. I was like that. I was like that.
Yeah, and sometimes the red circles. And sometimes it's like, oh, you've watched my story, you didn't even comment on something. I said, I promise you, I probably didn't even see it. And then that's not. I do it with certain stories. So I think for all my friends that I engage with the most, it's always like the front bit, and then towards the end, maybe it's like brand pages or whatever. But there's some stories I just miss, and I'm just tapping through. But people like really analyze how people use social media, and I feel like I use it in a very not nonchalant way, but I feel like even like liking stories. I like everybody's stories. I just like, because it's easier than to have to talk. Sometimes you might reply and they won't reply for a week. I'm like, I forgot even what I replied to now. Do you know what I mean? But then you're just like, oh, that's cute. You like, but then some people are like, oh, this person liked my story. But I don't think that way. And I'm worried people think that, well, I liked the story, it means something more than it did.
Do you think it's mad when, because I would think it's mad if someone was like, bro, like, you ain't watch my story or nothing like that. I don't watch my story. I don't go on Instagram
to watch anyone.
No one should feel entitled to me watching anything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I really just, I'm passing through. Like, I'm not hearing it. Do you get really? But it's like, and do you know what's annoying? You know, sometimes like I'll have like stuff that I haven't read or whatever, and then obviously I've done that like little 5-minute session where I'm scrolling and laughing or whatever. And I'll post one of those things and I'll cut off social media. But it's kind of like, oh, you're active on social media, but I haven't actually seen anything. So it's like, if the expectation from other people is that, oh, because you posted, you're going to be watching everyone's story, bro, there's actually like thousands of stories to watch. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not possible.
I do hear
it's not. And I was telling my friend that this morning, because we were talking about it, and I was just saying that, like, it also, the way Instagram is, it doesn't show you everything. So sometimes you just don't see what your friends have posted all the time. It kind of feeds you the same stuff. Or it thinks what you're interested in, and it gives you more of that. And now with the whole repost thing, you're seeing what your friends are reposting as opposed to seeing what they've actually posted about their own content.
I'm not really. I was chatting to my missus about that the other day. So you see the repost thing here. Where does it go? It just goes to your thing.
It goes into the feed now. Whereas before, it used to like hover.
Oh, so like, you know how you have Explore, there's a separate post. Okay, so when I'm reposting people's stuff, people actually see it, but on the separate.
When they go onto your profile,
but it's only on my profile that they'll see it.
No. So if they go into Explore. Oh, there's the friends side, so there's reels, and then it says friends. Swipe to the right, you can see everything that your friends have like engaged with.
And you know, so funny because I said, so I'm one that always repost stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like, and not to say that if you don't, like, you're not like this, but anybody who's doing anything, I'm actually so invested in it.
Yeah.
I actually really, really want you to do. I really, really want you to do it.
Yeah.
I repost
You can't look at me.
I just was trying to do the other day. That's something else, man. When he was trying to say, oh, like, he's support something like that, and I was like, oh, what was he even saying? And he was trying to make it seem like,
laughing at the support.
Yeah.
Talk about the group.
I said, are you laughing at people supporting?
No.
That's what I said.
Huh?
Check the group.
No, but why have you even just said that now? Because then it's taking the banter outside of the group.
You brought up the group. You actually brought up the group.
I'm just because you're talking about the support conversation, yeah, and you say that you like to support everything. I was like, I'm laughing at the fact that you try to make it seem like us, but don't. You know what I mean?
And
you try to make it seem. Those are the high horse of that. You know, why on social media like you, bro?
You know when you feel like as though you're not doing something.
Okay.
And then somebody's speaking about.
Feeling away.
This is projection.
Projection.
This is projection.
Taking
it away from what we were just talking about.
Yeah, but that's how my brain works now. Yeah, mad scientist, isn't
it? Mad scientist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand. I feel it's so important. I don't take it personal though.
No.
So I do content, innit? And I understand how important it is for people to obviously reshare your stuff.
Yeah.
But I genuinely don't take it personal, and it won't take away from me still doing what I actually think that I should really do for.
And I think everyone needs to get to that point of like just not caring of what people think and feel about. And I think social media is a big part of that.
Yeah.
I think so many people just obsess over how much engagement they've got on stuff. Who's liked it, who's commented, who hasn't, and I'm like, just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, well, you shouldn't obsess over who's reacting to it. And I've got friends who obviously are trying to do content, and sometimes they worry about the numbers or lack of numbers, and I'm like, yeah, but then everyone that's now big in content creation started with no numbers, and they kept doing it anyway because they know that the audience that's for them will come. If they want it, that or if it's just something you want to do in your pastime, then you shouldn't care what other people think about it. It's just something you want to do on the side. But people would really care, and it's sometimes it's like it's a whole other thing about seeking validation that we need to work on. I think
socials. Socials. I think everyone take a break if you can.
Yeah.
Just come off. Take a break. Go outside. Smell fresh air. With your people, then come back.
Exactly.
It's a different world out there, man.
And it's only a snippet of people's real world, if it's real at all. And people just take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And actually, just it's nice to connect people real for real.
Yeah.
And not social media. I think. Yeah.
100%.
I don't hate social media, but I think people, people
get should have a good relationship.
Good. A healthy one.
You have a healthy relationship, exactly.
I think that's a good advice that you're giving there as well in terms of like just go outside, man. Like,
yeah.
Barefoot even. Just step on the soul.
No,
you get what I'm saying? Let the soul go in between your toes, bro. Like, just, do you know what I mean? Grips the leaves on the tree and that. Like.
It reminds me of the touch of the field. Feel the rain on
your
skin.
No,
what? They'll be spinning around in the rain, that song. But yeah, man.
Do it for Lil Saint.
Someone made a funny reel about that, like, you know what it is? The dumb thing about that film, You Got Served, is that they were breakdancing like to get money to sell drugs. It's actually such an
I didn't even think about that.
It's actually, you know what it is? It's actually so dumb. It's actually so dumb. But he was like, listen,
if you're breakdancing, I don't really like that.
Yeah. They were just like, they're bare on crust, but like, bro, they're actually doing it like to breakdance. No, it's funny.
Like, Stop the Yard and that. It's actually jokes.
None of them finished watching Stop the Yard.
You never finished it?
No, I started. It's because it was years ago.
Once.
I watched it,
you know
and I didn't finish it. And then
always
it
you laugh about Stop the Yard.
Yeah.
There's this bit where he does this movie where he kind of like just goes like around in a circle in it, and everyone was like, and they made it slow motion and all that. Cause I was like, bro, like, what is this? This girl just like anyone I can do this.
It's funny still. Yeah, You Got Served, it spun me when the guy was talking. Still, it spun me. It spun me. But listen, we got a special guest in the building.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? We got the Director of the Year.
Come on.
You get me?
Hey.
We got our documentary dynamo.
Come on.
You get me? Our TV specialist.
Come on.
You get me?
Media
Shout out.
mogul.
You trust me. Shout out Laide in the building, man.
Come on, man.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Laide.
Laide.
That bit, yeah.
Just in case anyone wants to correct us,
Just in
man.
case, yeah.
We saying that, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you, man?
Good to be here.
Hey, do you know, it's house party specialist. This one.
Oh,
You know?
well,
Trust me, what?
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
House party specialist.
I knew you
man.
were
It was
gonna
a small
do
house
it.
party back in the day.
A little bit.
Hey, what?
Alright, cool. So let's go top 3 things that a house party needs to bang.
A big enough house.
Okay.
Food and drink.
Yeah.
The right guests.
Yeah.
Everything else can work
Sort
out.
itself out.
Yeah,
You
sort itself
reckon?
out. Yeah.
What about music?
The right
Yeah.
guests will sort out the music. If you hire the wrong people,
I see what you
Yeah.
did.
then it just
You got to remember back in the days as well. This wasn't a DJ. You had to play music
Bluetooth
on your phone, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You be connected.
Yeah.
Specialist still. What
So
like,
Back in the day, we used to have DJ still.
Huh?
We used to have DJ, so you have like virtual DJ and they start running music and that.
Yeah, but You know what I mean?
I see. Kind of house parties I was going to. People had laptops in it.
No,
I'm guessing.
I was using our phone, boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say just our phones.
You'd be lucky you had.
Well, you don't just use your phone and put it in the corner of the room and that so it goes loud.
Yeah. When you lean against the wall, so it gets a little bit loud.
Imagine having a party like that. My
Or you could like connect it to like the speakers and stuff, but it was like a wire back in the day.
The wire.
You know the wire. Everyone knows that wire. The red and white.
There was none of this USB-C stuff.
Exactly.
Bro,
no Bluetooth. Nothing.
It's funny because it was like one plug for everything.
Yeah.
One plug to the TV, one plug for your phone, one plug for everything still.
Yeah.
But nah, fam. It was early in this house party stuff, you know. Some people went uni, that's when they started doing the house party.
That's why Vice Cartel was coming.
Hey, it's making sense.
Everyone listened to Vice Cartel in secondary school.
No. Garrett still. Garrett was top still. It was top, like, it wasn't in my top 5 last year though, but it was top. It was top. Aye, but listen, special guest, man. And obviously, I remember actually, there was a time we spoke time ago and we were talking about a show you were doing. And like, you were talking about it. Obviously, that didn't come through. Yeah, but I was like, I don't have many friends here who are in like TV or anything kind of adjacent to that.
Yeah.
I have friends who very much like series and they review series and they like shows, but actually in the industry, I don't. So like, what was your journey into there, like into the industry?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to work in creative industries. So like school, even college, uni, would write for like the school magazine, college magazine, that kind of thing. You
do the college magazine? Yeah.
No one else did it. It was like a handful of us in this spare room. It wasn't very glamorous.
I didn't even know we had one, boy.
Exactly. No one read it. No one engaged with it. But I've always liked to do that kind of stuff. And even when I worked in retail, I worked for John Lewis. I used to write for their magazine, like do stories with like the partners in the store and all that kind of stuff. So it was also good to get experience, and I had like a camera and stuff, and so I enjoyed it. I always knew that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. And then when I finished uni and everything, it was just really hard to get into that space. At uni, I was lucky enough to get work experience and job experience with like BBC. I was at Hertfordshire, and then Elstree and Bournemouth was a massive TV studio. And then on our intranet, they were advertising like, for BBC roles. I was like, okay, so I applied for it and went to interview and I got one. And it was like, that's like to do BBC News for local elections. Okay. So you're hired for like 2 days, but then you work with like the news team.
Was it voluntary or was it paid?
No, you got paid. Oh, okay. But it was like working with the news team who were like covering the elections. I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. So then you're in a newsroom and there's like Emily Maitlis or David Dimbleby, all these people around. Oh, these are actually who I've seen on TV before. Yeah. And then you had to like help kind of get the right information to report on the local elections. So it wasn't what I really wanted to do, but it was good to be in that space. I did that a couple of times whilst I was at uni.
And but what's good so far, just to pick it out, is that from time you were doing things that were associated with what you, like closely linked. Yeah, you know, sometimes but people say they want to do something, bro, for like 5 years, you haven't done anything closely associated with that thing. It's kind of crazy.
What did you study in uni?
English literature with journalism and French.
Okay, cool. French. So it's very much in.
It was good back then, but I didn't continue with it.
I thought you just said buongiorno.
No,
that's Italian. That's Italian.
How's your French though? Is it?
It was good. It was good then, but not so good now. Okay. But then I went to Lille a few years ago, and they don't speak English to you there. Well, I felt that anyway. And I'm having to really remember what I knew. They would speak English, but they're quite like, you know what I mean? Speak the language. And they want you to speak the language, and I tried my best. It wasn't very good, but muscle memory, you know.
What level would you say that? Beginner, conversational?
I say I'm beginner still.
Okay.
I can't hold like a big conversation in French. But I can have small greetings and stuff like that.
I hear it. I do hear it.
I was racking my brain to say something to you. So
no, there's no point. I won't say that back.
But no. Omelette du fromage?
Oh my days.
I'm to Dexter's laboratory. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That's actually where I go from. That's actually where I go from.
What does that actually mean?
That's all you could say. Something
cheese and omelette.
Yeah.
Cheese
omelette.
Fromage is cheese, I think. And then
omelette. Yeah, I hope so.
But
obviously I'm bilingual as well, isn't it? But
okay.
It's not about me though. It's not.
But then that's what I did, and then when I finished, it was hard to get that job. So then I was trying to think of like, I was leaning into journalism. That's what I thought I wanted to do. Or that's what it looked like I wanted to do. And then, but everyone was like, oh yeah, you can work for us, but it's unpaid, or it's this, it's unpaid. There was like a lot of unpaid internships, that kind of thing. And I was like, don't really want to do that because I need to get paid.
Mm.
I can't tell my mum, oh, yeah, I'm working now, but I'm not getting paid. So it's like, she'll just like wrap it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then I carried on working at John Lewis, and then BBC contacted me for a few more of those shifts for local elections and stuff. So I did a little bit more of those, but they're so sporadic.
Would you say that, like, when they called you the first time, would you say that you done well? Like,
yeah, I think so. I think I think when you're in a newsroom, you're in like a really fast-paced, busy environment, so you just got to do the right job. Don't make mistakes. I think anyone doesn't make mistakes will probably call you back. They don't remember you enough to be like, oh yeah, because you had that nice smile or something.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's just you didn't make any mistakes. Come back, you get the job
done.
done. Yeah. And that's kind of how I work anyway. And then so that was okay, but it wasn't consistent enough. And then I had some unpaid stuff, and I was like, it's not what I want to be doing. And then I think I kept trying to apply for stuff, but we don't know anyone. And I realize now how much of a who you know the creative industry is. But at the time, I didn't realize that. So when I was getting nowhere, I just applied for John Lewis head office because I was already working for the store, and I got that job. And that was
what John Lewis were you working?
That was head office in Victoria. But the one in the store I was working in Sloane Square.
Okay.
In Chelsea, which I really liked. And then
was it that one?
Peter Jones. Yeah.
Peter Jones. Yeah.
So that one, I loved it because it's such a weird mix of people that come to that one. Like the richest of the richest, like celebrities, royal family, whatever. But then you get like the local estate, and you get a real spectrum of people that come in there, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just never knew who was gonna. Like I've served like celebrities and stuff, and you're, oh, okay, it's like Christian Bale. Oh, it's Hugh Grant. Oh, it's like suddenly you're like you have to act normal.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to. Okay, cool. It's you. That's you. But I'm gonna. And then, but it was weird. Then you just get other people that you see regularly that come from like around the corner, and it's like, so it was quite a nice mix. But I needed consistent work.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling, I was probably like, can't remember. I think it was a few months out of uni, and I thought I was going to just go straight into something, and it didn't work out that way. And when I got the head office job, I was like, okay, it's nice to have like, Monday to Friday stability, and it was a good job, and it was stable, and it was good pay and everything, and I was copywriting, so it was sort of like, okay, I'm doing a bit of writing, but it wasn't quite what I wanted to do. And I think after a couple of months, I just knew it's not it, but I'm going to carry on. But then I kept trying to find that creative job and stuff like that. I started looking. My friend who now works in radio, S&M, she recommended Creative Access to me because she had known of them, and she said, "Oh, you should go to their events and that kind of stuff." So I started going to their events, and I started to meet people who worked in the industry and get advice and stuff like that. And I carried on applying for stuff.
What is Creative Access?
It was back then. It was more of a like diversity sort of charity that kind of make an effort to kind of diversify various creative industries: radio, advertising, film, TV, music. Now it's a bit more of a mixture of that and social mobility. Because obviously the creative industry is very like it's definitely built for like upper middle classes, that kind of thing. So there's a kind of financial barrier sometimes accessing it. I didn't know that at the time as well. So then I was going to loads of events and I was applying for stuff, not getting anything, and I kept trying. And it's one of those things where you keep trying, and nothing happens, and then suddenly I got like a wave of interviews, and even interviews I had before, I was getting them, and I was getting stuff like. I wouldn't say that they were like racist or anything, but I'd go to interviews. I remember there was one interview I had in Soho. It was a media company, and he was asking me loads of questions. I asked him questions. I thought it was really nice, and then he was like, "Oh," he was talking about the kind of people that he asked me my background and everything else. And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then he asked me loads of questions about myself and my background. And I said, "Oh, so what kind of people work here?" I just meant like generally what's the vibe here. And he sort of looked at me like I asked him a really bad question, and he's like, "Well, yeah, there's this person." He started naming the people. I was like, obviously I don't need to know their names. And then he's like, "Oh, but there's no black people here." And he said it in like a really weird way. Like I was asking that question.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I wasn't asking that. And it was really weird. Yeah.
In an interview?
It was an interview.
If he said
there's no black people here.
Yeah, and he just said it in a way like I think he thought caught out and had to say something. And I said, I was asking what the kind of people work here, like what the vibe is. What's the culture? And I think he just didn't. And then I thought, oh, is that a thing? You know, black people or whatever in the industry. And again, I didn't realise that. But obviously going to Creative Access events, I did know that there was a diversity issue in the creative industries. And so I had a few interviews, but then they were not successful. And then that was one that really stood out to me where the guy I felt was just quite a weird vibe. And then I just carried on with John Lewis, and my boss knew that I wasn't enjoying it. I told him what I wanted to do. And he's like, "Oh, well, I really hope you get it. Just let me know. And if you need interviews, you need to go. I'll give you the time and all that." And he's really, really supportive. And then I didn't have anything for a while. And then there was 1 week where I got like loads of interviews at once. And I think with those interviews, I think I was putting on a bit of a persona that I thought I needed to be. I need to act a certain way because they're going to like me more. maybe that's part of why I wasn't getting anywhere. And in that week, the first interview I had was this company called 24. It was owned by ITV, and I think I was so over the lack of success I'd had before.
Yeah.
I was gonna come as I am.
Yeah.
I'm from South London. I speak a certain way. I'm into certain TV shows. I'm not gonna pretend I know everything that you guys have made or what you're making, what you're working. I'm not gonna pretend. So I just came as I was, and I probably said all the wrong things. I did mention some shows that they've made that I knew of, but then they were like asking what else I'm watching, and I was talking about like Love and Hip Hop, which they would have never ever heard of, and I was talking about like Real Housewives and all this stuff. But I was also talking about like random shows.
Channel 4,
the Nigerian one.
Yeah, My Family.
Wedding or something like that.
No, My Family.
My Family, when it was like immersed with a family.
Yeah. Was that Channel 4?
Enough, no, that was on Channel 4. But funny enough, one of the bosses at that company made that show. I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So it was a lot of things that they made that I wasn't aware of. But I was saying all the wrong things, and they were just like, and then at the time, because when I was unemployed, I was watching a lot of daytime TV. So I was watching like Four in the Bed and like The Bill and stuff.
So funny.
I know, and then they were just like, okay. And I thought I was thinking, what's going on? And then I was mentioning some of the American shows, and they're like, oh, okay. And they were trying to write it down, like, oh, where did you watch that on? And I was like, oh yeah, Mr. World Premiere.
Yeah,
and
Mr.
they
World
was
Premiere.
like,
No,
and
that is
and they were like, Mr. World Premiere, and they were like,
What network is
and they
that?
were like, oh, where'd you get that? I was like, oh, it's like pirate. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, don't write that down. And then they just started laughing because they were just like, okay, whatever. And then it was just like, I think all the formality left the room at that point because I said I admitted to like watching pirate shows and whatever.
Yeah.
And then this is a proper TV company that wants people to watch it on the channels and stuff. But we had like a nice time. We had a laugh, and I had a genuine interest in like what they made and what I wanted to do, what kind of shows I would like to make one day. And then I left. I didn't know how it went. I didn't know anything. I just thought it was a bit of a funny interview. And then the same day they called to offer me the job.
Wow.
And I was really surprised.
Day
The same day,
Kai.
they said, "Oh, there was something about you," and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, I fucked it. I was like, I said all the wrong things, and then so I told my boss, and he was like, "Whoa, I mean, I gave you some time to go to interview, but that's too quick." And I was like, "Well, they want me to start in like 2 weeks," and I had something like a 4-week notice period, and I said, "I need to start in 2 weeks," and then he was just like, "Okay, I see what I can do," kind of thing. I'll make it work.
You know that,
man. Get out, man. I'm leaving, man. I'm about 2 pounds. Get out, man.
And then I started 2 weeks later, and then but it was, and that's how I kind of got in, and that was the internship, and that was like my first kind of foot in the door.
Was that paid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the role as well?
It was like a development intern.
Okay.
So I'd left copywriting at John Lewis, which was a good pay and everything, and I left to do an intern. But to be fair, I didn't know what the pay structure was on TV. So I wasn't sure what I was going to earn. I didn't know how little or how... And actually, it was more. But I think TV industry's got a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? But actually, the internships are not badly paid.
Yeah.
But you're an intern. So people look at it, it's like, oh, you're like getting the teas and you're doing whatever. But actually, that wasn't what it was like. And yeah, when I started, it was uncomfortable. I was very aware that it wasn't the most diverse company. I was very aware. And one thing I think with TV that stood out to me more than race was class. And I think like everyone around me had gone to like private school and stuff. They spoke a certain way. They had certain interests. And I was like, oh, wow, I really feel out of place. So I think I really struggled to like settle in. And I think when you're struggling to settle in, sometimes workplaces, as much as they might mean well, don't know how to deal with that. So you sort of feel like, they feel like you hate them. And actually, I don't hate you. I'm just uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I feel like...
Hey, that's a very good point. Still.
Yeah.
I don't actually hate it here. It's just...
Yeah,
it's just not easy for me.
It's not easy, and I think people struggle to understand that. They just take it personally, like, oh, she's not enjoying it. Oh, she's not smiling enough. Oh, I'm like, because I just feel uncomfortable. I feel like, and I don't think you guys would resonate what I want to talk about. But I also don't understand what you're talking about. And there's a lot of things, and then obviously that sort of got a bit better when I was honest about that, because I felt like what I've always done with work is just be honest to how I feel, as opposed to try and hold it in, and then feel worse. And take that energy home with me. And then it got better. So once I was honest, things got better. And I feel like with development in particular, which is the department where you come up with ideas for TV shows, I really struggle with that.
Okay, so that's what development is. That's idea.
That's ideas for TV shows. And then you have to work it up. You've got to pitch it to the broadcasters, like BBC, ITV, whatever. And it can be different briefs. Or it can be like, so-and-so from Channel 4 want this. So-and-so from ITV want that. And then you've got to make ideas for that brief.
Could you give an example of like the sort of...
So say, for example, I started development, that company did everything. So documentaries, factual entertainment, studio, all that kind of stuff. So they might say...
What's factual entertainment?
So factual entertainment is an entertainment show, but it's like something... I'll say the Traitors as a good example of.
Okay.
It's a real people, it's real life, but it's an entertainment show.
Right. Okay.
Whereas entertainment could be something made up like a game show.
Right. Okay.
And then Factual is like a real show, like an obs doc or documentary, that kind of thing. So then someone say, oh, we want BBC. Someone at BBC wants the next version of The Apprentice. Like they want a new version. It's getting a bit old. What's the new sort of like strip show where it's like you can watch it loads of times. There'll be elimination each week, but it's still factually based. And you're like, I don't know. And then you have to think about that, and you have to like literally bang your heads together and think about what that looks like, what that is. Or so and so wants a documentary about trains in Yorkshire. It can be very niche or it can be very broad.
Yeah.
Or the Yorkshire Farm's doing really well on Channel 5. What's the next version of that?
Yeah. They try and do that replicate
and they want to replicate what's doing well, but they also want newness. And obviously what was really hard was like the Saturday night shiny floor. So that was dominated by like X Factors, your Big Nuts, Talent, all that, and that's a very good market to be in. And obviously, if you do well, you can sell it, and that's how these companies make their money. So you might make a format like the X Factor. If it does well, you got X Factor UK, you got X Factor Germany, X Factor USA, whatever.
Sure.
So then people wanted formats, and my company were very big on formats, and I wasn't big on formats. I didn't really understand it because I understood it was a business with formats. It wasn't just the idea itself; it was how it was going to sell. Yeah. So that's what we had to do all the time. So we're always thinking of ideas for TV shows, and then our bosses will go and pitch them, and then you get a commission. Sometimes you get a little bonus and stuff. But it was hard. It was hard work, and I just felt like it wasn't the side of creativity that I wanted to be on. It's very hard, and it's a job I respect a lot. Yeah. But I wanted to be making programs. I wanted to be with people, filming with them, talking to them. That's where I felt like I was most comfortable, but where I would get the most out of my skill set.
So this was still your internship?
Yeah.
And how long was your internship?
My internship was meant to be 4 months.
Okay.
I think after 2 months, I was kind of like saying to them I wasn't enjoying it. Then I say the next 2 months got better because I was honest about what I wasn't enjoying. So they were giving me more of what I liked.
Okay.
And also when it came to like pitches and development, they were giving me more documentary stuff. That's what I was more into. And then they said whenever a show we're doing is going into funded development, which is when a broadcaster will put money behind it to prove the concept, you can go on the shoots, or you can go on this, you can go on it, so you can get some production experience, which is what they did. So I got to get like experience being on sets and then being with camera and being all that stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to be doing. So I just kind of waited my turn. And I think after like 6 months of doing the internship, I then got a job, same company, and it was a production, and it was a Ibiza Weekender. So obviously it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to be doing, but it was like my chance to go on production, be on set, film with people, that kind of thing, and I got to go to Ibiza. I'd never been to Ibiza before. So that was an experience.
You never been to Ibiza?
At that time, I hadn't been there. And it was a good experience. Obviously, the sort of show it was kind of like, maybe now I wouldn't like want to do that, but I feel like at the time I was happy to do anything because you get experience from everywhere. Yeah. And I did that, and that was really good. And I think I learned a lot about the camera. I learned about how people produce people. How you kind of have to get permission for filming. I learned all about the process of, when you're filming, this is what you have to do. And I came back, and then I was like, okay, I want to do more of that. And they said, okay, that's fine. At that point, my internship had finished, and they'd made me like a junior researcher, which is like a editorial role. It's like an entry-level editorial role. Got a bit of a pay rise, and I was like, okay, cool. But then I was back in development, and I was like, I just don't think that's where I want to be.
What's your mentality at work? Like, you mentioned the newsroom and that. You don't make mistakes, and you kind of mentioned that you're not like that. So I feel don't make mistakes.
So I feel like when I felt like I couldn't make a mistake. I think TV is quite brutal, and I'm not saying I didn't make mistakes when I was coming up. I probably did, but I definitely tried my best not to make mistakes. I feel like I work really hard. Obviously, all of us feel like we have to work harder than our counterparts, that kind of thing. So that's very much drilled in me. But I'm very collaborative. I like to know everyone in my team. And yeah, I feel like I work hard, and I was working hard to prove myself to that company and show that it wasn't a mistake hiring me or extending me or whatever. Because I realized I'd gone beyond my 4 months. Yeah. And sometimes you feel like you're on a bit of a clock when you're having these small extensions and not like you're not permanent somewhere or anything like that. But that's how I felt, and I felt like I was just. But I felt one thing I'm big on work is just being honest about and transparent with your employers or whatever about what is it you want to get out of something? Because if they don't know, they're not going to give it to you. Yeah. And I think obviously naturally that kind of progressed to I wanted to do more production, and then I think the following year I moved on to production, and I went on to a show called Educating, which I'd watched when I was younger, I watched like Educating Yorkshire, Educating
Yeah.
Cardiff,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And my company made that show.
Okay.
So then I got to work on the Manchester one.
Oh, sick.
So then I was like, oh wow, this is something I actually watched when I was before I was even in TV. Then I got to work on that, and I think the people that I worked with on that show, I definitely feel like really championed me. Because on that show, I was a researcher, and I took a more junior role to be on that show. It was like a logger job, and loggers when you're like transcribing live everything that's going on. And I knew that
what's a lot? You're
everything that's been filmed. You're literally transcribing it. You're like writing it down.
Word for word.
Literally, word for word. You're trying your best to do it word for word. That's the role I took on it.
So, but why do they need that?
Because when it gets to the edit, they need to know. They need a little bit of a note of what happened.
That's crazy.
Because it's actually very expensive to get things transcribed professionally. So you hire loggers sometimes to do it in live. So I didn't want to do that, but I thought I wanted to work on that show. So I took that job.
You need to do.
And obviously, I think after a week or two, they're like, "You're not a logger." Do you know what I mean? So they were giving me more and more stuff to do. And my bosses just really saw something in me, and then that job just kind of. They just gave me more and more to do, and I was feeling like I was growing a lot on that job, and I was gaining a lot of confidence. And then I think that just kind of carried on, and I think that's the energy I carried on with throughout. And then knowing those people, and obviously TV's a natural network. Everyone you work with, you want to make sure you're nice. You want to make sure they like you because they might move on somewhere else that you might want to go. And people forget that. People are sometimes people are quite mannerless in TV and quite transactional. And I think actually when you act like that, people are not going to remember you or care to call you for anything afterwards. Like, because they think all you want is this, all you want is that. Whereas if you're just a bit more like, thanks for this opportunity, if anything else comes up, love to know about it. And you just keep it clean and keep it simple. More time than most, they probably will try their best. So that job, I ended up doing a lot, and I got exposed to the edit for the first time on that job. And edits are really hard to get into. So sometimes you don't even get to edit until you're a producer level. And also I was a researcher, and they put me in the edit for like a day's work experience. Oh, you can see the edit. I was like, great. And then I was in the edit, but I used to have, not anymore, I'm getting old, but I used to have really good memory. So then I was working with the editor, who was like a really big editor at the time. And he was watching part of the school day. And I remember that day really clearly. So I said to him, oh, this person's going to bunk off. This person's going to do this. This person's going to do that. And he was like, oh, you just kind of skip the rest of the because I haven't got to watch it anymore. And he goes, oh, do you want to come back tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I asked my boss.
So I'm saying, you
stay
ready.
And then obviously I came back tomorrow, then I was helping him again. And he was like, oh my God, you're halving like my workload by even just remembering so much stuff. And then he just turned into a job. And then I was an edit researcher. And that's not a thing. And then they created that for me. And then the edit is where they're actually putting the show together. So everything you filmed for months or weeks or whatever is getting crunched down into 47 minutes, 1 hour. You're seeing how hard it is to take all this content and make it smaller. And that's something I feel like people on TV don't often get to be exposed to. So you feel like you filmed everything, but everything I filmed is so amazing, they're going to cut it out. It's like, they haven't got a choice. If someone's commissioned something to be 1 hour, it has to be 1 hour. Because it's like a financial reason as well. It can't be more than that. So then I realised I was exposed to that for months. And after, I just feel like I grew a lot. I feel like I really matured. And then I was then kind of being looked at for more senior roles. And I hadn't really been a researcher for that long.
So how long? Because they extended you for 6 months. And
my internship was about 6 months.
Then
I became a researcher towards the end of 2017.
Okay.
And then I would say, so in 2018, I was still researching and I was doing different things. Then the school I was filming with, they got in some trouble. So we had to stop filming.
Okay.
And then 2-4 luckily still kept me on. And I was doing different shows, and that's when I experienced other shows. So then that year, that was my first kind of full year being a researcher in 2018, and then 2019, I was still at the 2-4, and they were doing other shows that involved travel and stuff. So I got to go to India, I got to go to Alaska. They were filming all these different shows around the world, and I got to experience that. But again, the bosses I had on those shows didn't realize I was a researcher. They thought I was more senior. And I was like, oh no, I'm just a researcher. Then I thought, oh, maybe I should stop saying that. Not correct them. I'll just do the job they've asked me to do and not say what I am or what I'm not. And I felt like people just treated me more maturely than I was. And then the bosses I had on that previous show on Educating had gone off to other things. And then they were always mentioning me in rooms, recommending me, that kind of thing. So I was getting all this contact from people.
That's our prayer. That's
your destiny helper. Your destiny helper. Don't let your destiny helper catch you in business. You win.
But that's what you want to hope for in TV.
Yeah.
And you have to make a good impression on people. They want them to want to do that. So then so in 2019, when I was kind of, okay, I've done a bit of researching now and I know what it is and I'm confident in it. Then I was getting contacted by people, oh, we're looking for an assistant producer. I was like, whoa. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I'll do the interviews. And then the first one I had is the one I got, which was on Ambulance, which was for BBC. It was like the documentary they've been making it for years. And that was my first step up into then assistant producing. And I was like a whole different ball game. It was really hard. And I think it was my first time working on those kind of, you're immersed with like emergency services. You're immersed in a workplace.
Yeah.
And you got to film with them. And it was a really difficult job.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is the difference between a producer and director?
So there's not much difference. But I would say that a director is the creative lead. So you have to be across everything. Producers, you have to be across a lot, but not everything.
Okay.
And as someone that enjoyed producing, and I was a good producer, I would say the transition from producing to then directing, I would say most of it was similar, but I think the volume of work I had to do as a director, I was never prepared for.
Yeah.
Because then with producing, you're across like what the film needs or what the project needs. Whether that's the people that need to be filmed, their welfare. Sometimes you might do story notes, you might do a bit of research, you might help with locations, that kind of thing. But then when you're a director, you're across the same stuff, but then you're also across like the composer, the music, the graphics, the legals. Producers are also across legals, but then director, you're signing it off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's like, you're across the edit. You take things into the edit. So you're across the whole project.
Does the producer get the final say so?
No.
They don't. The director get the final say so. And is that the same across with film as well?
Film is different because film is structured differently.
Okay.
I think film producers are a lot more senior than TV producers.
Okay.
That's what I might be completely wrong, but that's what it feels like.
Because I was thinking that the producer is the one that gets the final. So obviously the director definitely has a lot of say.
There's different types of producers. So there's an executive producer, which is the overall producer. That's like at the top of the whole thing. But executive producers are kind of like overseers who are across lots of different projects. Director is across that project. So they oversee and have the final say on that project. But it gets signed off by their exec or by the channel. So that's the difference.
Fair.
Yeah. So obviously assistant producing and producing, I started to do that, and that all went really quickly. So I feel like I moved from... So between starting in TV and becoming a producer, that was 4 years. And everyone told me it would take like, 8 years, 9 years. You've got to do a few years of this, a few years of that. And I didn't mind that. It was just didn't happen that way for me. So I became a producer after 4 years. And I did like Ambulance and your A&E and all these different shows. A lot of medical actually, but then I also did like a Will I Am thing, which I think was what we was talking about. So I worked with Will I Am. That was really exciting. That was really cool, and that was so I did a little bit of like talent, what we call talent led, which is where it's led by someone that's famous. So I did a mixture of things as an AP, as assistant producer, and then my first producing job was this Amazon series with Rio Ferdinand, which was about race, mental health, and sexuality via the lens of football. And that was quite a big project. And I think, again, because it was so big, I was across so much more stuff. So I was learning a lot on the job and taking a lot of new skills. And I had a boss that was very open to me, just leaning into what he needed to do sometimes. And then you're just growing. So I feel like as a producer, I also grew quite quickly. And I worked on lots of different things, but I got a lot from it as well. So when it was time to direct, I actually was a little bit scared of the idea of directing. But I felt like actually I was a very... sort of dependable producer, so maybe it's time for a new challenge. And I didn't initially want to do it. I was a bit scared of it being too senior too soon, and and because it was Grenfell, I think the worry was it's too big a story. My name's going to be out there possibly because the nature of the story is so big that whoever does it, if you do it wrong, that's that person that did that horrible Grenfell thing and those poor people and did it. That's I was thinking the worst instead of thinking the best. So I took a while to kind of come to terms with actually doing that job.
So how did the Grenfell? Do you know what I mean?
When
When you jumped into that way,
so let's be very clear.
how did that even come across your desk? How did the Grenfell job come?
So I'd worked at a company called Rogan Productions as a senior producer,
right,
on a documentary called The Final Attack on Wembley, which was a documentary about kind of all the disorder at the Euro 2020 final of England and Italy. And that company, they were sort of impressed by me. And at the time I was working on that, my boss said to me, you should do a first cut. And a first cut is Channel 4's new director's scheme. And I was like, oh, gosh, I'm really flattered, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think about it properly. He goes, you should think about it. You should have some ideas because I'm going to book a meeting with this woman like in 2... I was like, okay. So then suddenly I had to think, what would I want to make a documentary about?
Point of contact.
So then obviously I thought of some ideas. I had some already. One was like football related because I used to play when I was younger and I loved football.
What position?
Right back.
Say Danny Alves.
Yeah, whatever. But I was into football and I think working with Rio, I got really into like academy football and what that really looks like. So I pitched an idea sort of about that. And then I pitched an idea about gentrification and the sort of the good and bad of it and the nuances of it. So I feel like sometimes it's always seen as this bad thing, and in some areas it is a bad thing. But then when I grew up in Bermondsey, I feel like Bermondsey was like very right wing, very whatever, and actually gentrification helped that weed out a little bit, you know. And then there's nuances to it. So I pitched those two ideas. She liked it, and my brother was like, "Oh yeah, so you got to do more, like work them up more, meet people, start getting like maybe a casting reel or something." But then I just started another job at that point, and I was meant to be finishing at a company. And this job was with Louis Theroux's company, and I grew up watching Louis Theroux documentaries. I really liked his stuff, and I was like, I wanted to impress them. And the other job hadn't quite finished yet, so I ended up being across 2 jobs. So I was working every day.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh gosh, I'm starting to feel a bit burnt out now. And my old boss is kind of like, so first cut, have you got the ideas, da-da-da. And I was like, I just haven't got the capacity to do. I'm doing too much now already, and I let it go. And then I finished that company, and I was working at Mindhouse, which is Louis Theroux's company. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying working with him. I worked on his interview series where every episode is a different person.
Yeah.
So my episodes were Ashley Walters and Joan Collins, but that series started with like AJ, and then I think it finished with. I can't remember who it finished with, but it was AJ, Ashley Walters, Pete Doherty, like a range of people. I really enjoyed working with him, and then I stayed on to work on other things. I did a boy band show, which is kind of like 90s boy bands, which I loved. And then I did some development, which was for Netflix ideas. So then Rogan, the company that offered me the first cut, then came back, said, "Oh, we should go for a coffee." And then in that coffee, he was asking me how I'm doing, how's it going. I said, "Oh yeah, going really well." And then I asked him how's things for me. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm good." And I said, "Oh, what are you up to?" He goes, "Oh, we've got this Netflix thing. We're possibly doing something about Grenfell." I was like, "Oh wow, I wouldn't have thought Grenfell was a Netflix story." But that's really good that it's going to be on that kind of platform. And he was just like, yeah, I think so too. And I said, "Oh, so how's it going?" He goes, "Oh, I'm just meeting like directors now and talking to people." I was like, "Cool, so how's that going?" And then he was just like, "Well, you know, we're here, so." Gotcha. Yeah, and I was like, "Okay." And then suddenly it was like an interview, which was meant to be a coffee. Do you know what I mean? And he does that a lot, so he's that kind of boss. But he's like, "I was watching about Grenfell, like I was watching about directing it." I was just like, I don't know. So I didn't know what to say, and he was like, "Obviously, I know you're a producer, but I think you're ready to direct, blah, blah, blah." And it doesn't happen often in the industry where people come to you with the step up.
You see direction within like documentaries.
Yeah.
So I'm an actor.
Yeah.
So like direction is I assume it's completely different when you're actually doing a documentary. So directing on like a TV or a film set is like, all right, say the line like this, do it like this. We want to move this here, all of that sort of stuff. What does it look like directing documentaries?
It's the story. You're across the story and how the story is gonna then translate onto screen. So that will be kind of not say what people are gonna say, because a documentary you can't tell people what to say. But if you know the story, it's how you want to tell the story and how you're going to achieve telling that story through the kind of people that you film with, the archive that you might use, the graphics you might use to all of it, the music you might use, anything that helps get to the point of understanding that story. So you're across all of that. Obviously with your team, but then you have to build that. And then you have to hire the right people to help you build that.
So and obviously like the questions that you ask and things like that as well. So when he asked you about doing Grenfell and giving you that opportunity, what was, because you kind of alluded to it before and he kind of pulled you back, what was the feeling like in terms of like Grenfell's obviously like a massive like point in history basically. Point in time.
I was worried it was too big for a first directing job. I felt Grenfell's a big story and Netflix is a big platform. So it just together that felt too much. But at that point he just said, "I'm going to mention you to Netflix." Obviously I knew Netflix already from working with them prior, but I'll mention them if they're warm, then they'll ask you to do what's called a director's vision, where you have to write a written proposal of how you would make it. And I'd never done one of those. I didn't even know what it was. So I was like, okay, cool. So I thought, okay, it's early days. Maybe I'm not even going to get it. So let me not overly worry. So I done that and I sent it off. So I think 2 days later he said, "Oh, Netflix are keen, so write a director's vision." I said, cool. So I done that and I sent it off. I never really heard anything back. So I didn't know if I did it right. I didn't know if I did it wrong. And then I was kind of, in that time I was waiting to hear what was going on, I was overthinking about it a lot. And I was just thinking, oh, is it going to like be too exposing? And it's a story that I just resonated a lot with as well. Is it going to be too emotional? Am I going to feel too close to it? That kind of thing. And then I sent him an email basically pulling out. So it was like, so I didn't think I was going to get it. I sent him an email just saying that for a number of reasons why I thought I wasn't right for the job, which is a very stupid thing to do.
Have you ever read the story of Jonah? No, I guess. Bro, it can bare times it seems like you're like, nah, do you know what? I'm alright, you look have it, man, it's fine. But then every single time, like they're pulling you back in and being like, nah.
And then so I did that, and I think while I did that, I just thought that was it. And then one boss sort of didn't reply to the email. Another one then called me saying, "What was that email about? Like, what's wrong with you?" kind of thing. And I was just like, "Yeah, that's what I felt." And he was like, "Just relax." I mean, like, and that was it. Yeah.
You know that time that he's like, put that in your bag. Like, There was one company I used to work at back in the day, and they used to do this thing where if you try to leave before 5, like it'll be on to you, innit? Or leave at 5, even 5:30, they'll be on to you. I remember one time one guy was feeling bold, innit? So like, he got up or whatever, like picked up his bag or whatever. And one thing they made you do, was say bye to the boss before you left, innit? So he's got up or whatever, he said bye to him or whatever. He's like, where you going? So I put down your bag.
That's basically what he said to me. Yeah, basically. And then that was it. I didn't hear back for probably another couple of weeks. And then when I got the phone call that I got the job, I was like literally having a walk in the park. I just finished the therapy session, and so I recently started therapy at that point. And I was feeling like quite chill, and I got that phone call, and I felt like I had a panic attack. I got like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. It just caught me off guard. I didn't know what to do, so I was really sort of panicked, thinking, oh gosh, and I was telling my family, my friends, I'm like, what? I don't understand what the panic is. Isn't this a big deal? Isn't this a good thing? And I was like, yeah, but do you not think it's too big? Whatever. And I was like, I don't know. And then they were just like, I don't understand your industry. I don't think it's that deep. Like they were just kind of like, it's a promotion, isn't it?
Yeah. So and I think there's a stark difference there in terms of like how men and like women.
And that's exactly what my mentor told me. Because my mentor said to me, if this was a man, I wouldn't have a conversation with him. I was like, okay, fair point. She just said that. I think that we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time,
I should be doing it. Yeah. Exactly. But I think women probably most industries, but I feel like in TV are scared to not scared, but they're apprehensive of that jump. They want to be really, really good first. But whereas men don't mind not being excellent. They were like, I've done a bit of that. I'm ready to do the next thing. I don't have to be perfect at it. Whereas women feel they have to be perfect at everything. And I think I just felt like I wasn't ready. And she was like, well, if they've offered you a job, then maybe that means you are ready. And then I took the job, and then it was I think the first 2 months or so it was hard to like deep that I was actually doing it. I had a massive imposter syndrome, which I think everyone experiences at some point. And I was really worried about like the best way to tell the story, how to sort of make sure we're doing justice to the people, but making it sort of engaging enough for a Netflix audience. Because Grenfell's been made before; it's not the first documentary. So and the other ones are a lot more emotional. They sort of stay with the people. You sort of follow that through with like their all like different stories of like sadness. And I thought like if you just keep doing sad stories throughout the whole like 90 minutes, which end up then being 100 minutes, people are gonna switch off. Or they're gonna feel too overwhelmed, too sad. And they're not stay with it.
Do you know what's so funny going on to the documentary? First of all, actually, let's just say this.
Very good.
She directed Grenfell documentary on Netflix. Let's get it up. You know what it is? Sometimes you can't jump over these things. That's a massive, very big deal. That's a massive deal. I remember even one time I was somewhere, one lounge. They're playing it on the big screen. I just sent it to her on the big screen. Hey, your name is coming up. Did you get me on this thing? But that's a good thing about the documentary, I feel, because like you said about the sadness, there was a point I watched it. I said,
it's peak.
There was one story. The guy with his family and his wife was pregnant.
Yes.
When there was a point he was talking, I said, and let me pause this. I'm not really an emotional person like that. Do you know what I mean? But I said, you know what? Let me just pause this.
You know what I had?
Let me come back to it.
Cool. In the first 5 minutes, I had that because there was a bit where it was like he's trying to get up to the 20th floor to get the girl's sister. And like 15th floor and all the smoke comes in and it's like you can already see in his face and how he's saying what he's saying that he already knows that.
He's not gonna get her.
This has become this has become like
something uncontrollable.
Impossible.
It's proper good getting the fireman's perspective as well. Because they're also having to, and I feel like like you get training for stuff, but you never think that. So all of those firemen that day, that's literally beyond worst case scenario. And you are the ones that are coming to save basically. Even like when
they would have never and they've never experienced.
You've never experienced that before.
And do you know what it is? I think one thing that the documentary highlighted that I wasn't expecting, but it did it pretty well in terms of like, with Grenfell, obviously everyone's about where does the blame lie sort of thing. And I think obviously even in terms of like the LFB, like the London Fire Brigade, sorry, like their part in it, and then the stuff about training and how they've never seen anything about this kind of cladding before, which would have obviously changed the whole approach.
Changed everything.
So it kind of, and then what was very apparent through the documentary is that actually like there's multiple areas where
there's
the
loads.
Brigade is
Yeah.
basically in it.
Which tends to be life, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's actually a good point.
And I think one thing that I felt like really resonated with me was the fact that like everyone was like, bro, like this is England. Like, how can this happen here? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I think even capturing that, I was like, you lot are literally capturing the minds and the thoughts like of everyone else that's watching this. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Which is insane.
What's so mad as well is what I didn't realize is, you know, the fire that happened in Peckham.
Yeah.
That was right. So I'm not. What year was that again?
2009.
So that fire in Peckham, it was basically next to my old house.
Oh, man.
Do you get me? So I know someone who lived in that house, in that block. So when I saw that, I was thinking,
that's mad still.
And there was another fire in that block when I was younger, but it just wasn't massive.
Yeah.
But there was another fire in that same block when I used to live near there. So I started seeing these things, just thinking that there's a whole other reality when these things happen.
And then that means the warning signs were there.
And even the company, bro, do you know what it is? And that's another thing you guys did very well. Well, like you did very well in terms of like even showing in the other cities around the world.
Yeah.
Where that same cladding had caused the exact same issue.
Yeah.
And even in terms of like the company, and then I can't lie, it was proper like investigative journalism.
I think and that was probably quite key to what we wanted to do. We wanted to make it investigative. We wanted to make it kind of shocking. We wanted to show, like, because we're taking all the information and we're doing all the research, and we're reading these emails, we're reading this stuff again. So we can't believe that
suppressing the evidence of the test.
You know, one thing that suppressing the test results that was just insane.
Yeah.
But one thing that also shocked me was from the people who were involved in regards to head of this, people who were in government. There was one senior, I wanted to jump in my screen and just fight him.
Everyone knows. The UK one knows something like, I said, let's spend this time wisely.
You said you've got someone
don't.
Bro. I sat there. If I could jump,
and he's the one that did the Christian thing, isn't it?
I'm a Christian. I'm on the Bible. I'm a Christian.
And you know what it is though? It raises an interesting point here in that, like, you know, sometimes when people hear Christianity, it's not confined in your church. It's not like it's how you do your in your work, in your everyday work. How diligent are you when it comes to your work and life? Do you know what I mean? How passionate are you to excellence? Like, to be excellent in what you're doing. That's your Christian faith showing. Do you get me? Not that you go to church on a Sunday. No, in your work, in your life, where you treat people. Like, what are you showing? And saying that moment there, Fuck, that smashed my laptop.
I think he realised that he had taken it too far. I even like the commentary that was said around the time in terms of like it was evident that because when you have a public inquiry, people are like compelled to attend, right? Obviously, if you're a UK citizen, I never knew that before, by the way. So that was good, like educational moment as well. And it was like, and even in the commentary, you lot made it very apparent that look, there were some people that were helpful, but then there's certain people you want to hold to account, but actually it's not helpful. And then, certain people you want to hold to account, they didn't turn up because they weren't UK citizens. But then, and that person had a massive stake. Like, people, honestly, you need to watch it. Like, that person had a massive stake. And even when we're talking about suppressing evidence and all that kind of stuff. But then even the ones that did turn up, but were extremely unhelpful, which is obviously the one that we're talking about. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think if we didn't, even if we had forgotten, like, or for some reason it out of sight, out of mind, because it never affected someone directly next to us, I think this really put us in the shoes of those who were in and around Grenfell. And actually, I felt even like a smidge. Obviously, I can't ever say that I felt exactly what they felt, but I felt a smidge of the range of different emotions, the deep sorrow, the rage and frustration. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And then the actual, you know, you get to a place where it's almost like, and again, you got to give it to God, but it's like, was it like vengeance or like almost
when you felt like you got
no, you need your recompense.
You got almost, and it's hard, and
justice.
That's why this is for me, who I have no real direct relation to what's happened. I'm watching it on the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember where I was. That the day of Grenfell, by the way. I remember the news, and even the way certain people were talking about it around me, because of the area and the sort of people that are there, the way they're talking about it is very much like laissez-faire.
Yeah.
But fair enough, people didn't know the gravity of it out
That's
there.
mad because I went to school. My college was in Labrador Grove, so my college is down the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
So at the time, there's people that are literally live in the area.
Yeah.
So on Snap, they're literally like downstairs, filming what's happening upstairs, isn't it?
Wow.
It's mad still. But what
you
I was saying is the vengeance thing. Yeah, when I was watching, I was like, I actually want revenge. Like, I'm not as close to it. I want revenge. Like somebody needs to pay.
To in trouble for
That's what it feels. I want justice.
Yeah.
You really, really want justice for these people. And it even gave me a wake up call that, you know what, Shay, like you haven't been as involved as you should have been in this whole thing. And not to say, oh, I would have been able to do a whole lot. But something. Do you know what I mean? Like something. And it was a wake up call.
Helps. I think one thing that's underrated as well, even just going back to the whole creation of this documentary, was like one thing I really liked was how, because again, Grenfell happened a little while ago now, but you got us back to that place by even at the Despacito.
Oh, the music.
What was popping around the time, and then there was the Afro swing song as well.
Did you see?
Did you see what? Even when that was in there, even when you put that bit in there, I was like, yeah. I remember this time. And it was just like, I think that helped massively in terms of setting the scene.
Placing people back to that point.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it was like so subtle, but it was like the perfect thing. So I can't lie, you were saying that you didn't know if you was ready. And
you're ready. How long?
The way you did that was crazy.
How long did it take?
I started in February last year, and I finished in like June this year. So it's quite a long time to do it.
Wow!
But it got delivered to Netflix. So from me starting to us being like, here is the finished product. We gave it to them, I think April, where it was like done.
Okay.
It took a long time. There was breaks in between that for like Christmas, summer break, that kind of thing, where we had to down tools. And obviously with the people of Grenfell, we couldn't always film and stuff like that. So there was sometimes a lot of downtime to just give them time and give them space.
I was going to ask you as well, was there anything that you really wanted to capture that you felt like you weren't able to? Or anything that was kind of like red taped?
I think there was more of other companies that we would have wanted to include, but it probably would have been probably a bit tricky legally, and just a lot to fit in. I think the story of Grenfell could be made into like 3-4 parts. It's so big. I think trying to condense it into one feature length was quite hard. Because there's a lot more companies involved in the ones that we mentioned in the documentary. So I think we felt like we were doing something wrong sometimes, not including them. And there was things that happened in the inquiry from people that even worked for the council that we didn't include. And a lot of the people, survivors in brief, were like, oh, but how have you not included this person that threw away their notebook? Or have you not put this person that got rid of this? And it's like, and those things sound pretty damning when you think about someone getting rid of a notebook. Why are you getting rid of a notebook? You know, all this stuff. And I get it, but I feel like when you zone in on individual people in that way, we could do it with other people that, for example, worked for the bigger companies that were repeatedly, we saw repetition as a pattern here. But when it's like a one-off thing and we can't link it to anything else, it just feels like you're piling onto someone. And you have to remember that, like, these people, some of them still live in that area. Sometimes they get seen, you know, in the area and they get shouted at, they get abused. I'm not saying, you know, whatever it is whatever it is, but the people are angry, you know, and there's people who worked for the council or the tenement management organisation that have been attacked since then by residents who are angry, you know. So we have to be really careful not to do too much, but we want to do enough so people see there's a lot to be angry about here. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot that's gone wrong.
How did you go about, so 2 questions, how did you go about choosing which stories to tell from like the residents? And then the second question is around like, so the whole thing exposes a lot of like wrongdoings across like loads of like government, hire companies, council and all of that sort of stuff. So did you have any like pushback when it came to like putting it on its feet?
Yeah,
it's such like an expose basically.
Yeah, so in terms of the people, I wanted it to be diverse. I've lived in a block before, many people have. We know it's not one type of person. So I wanted to make sure we captured a community. So we wanted people from different races, different backgrounds. And I knew with Grenfell in particular, there's a lot of Arab people, there's a lot of Portuguese, there's a lot of Caribbean. There was a lot of different cultures that lived there. We wanted to make sure that we were doing some sort of service to that. And also different ages as well. And I think the age thing was trickier because I think there was a worry that, do you want to make a young person go back to something that was very traumatic that happened when they were young? And that was something that we were on the fence by. So when we did speak to young people, we wanted to make sure that they definitely wanted to do it. Because because I felt like that perspective was probably missing from other Grenfell documentaries where young people were having to fight, escape for their lives, and a lot of children died in Grenfell as well. So I felt like I didn't want to do too much of that, but I wanted to make sure that people remembered that some of the most vulnerable people were failed. Disabled people were failed, elderly were failed, children were failed. People who can't get out themselves. So with that in mind, that was partly why we picked certain stories and wanted to follow. So obviously with Luana, who was 12 at the time, and she was 19 when we filmed with her. This is a 12-year-old talking about how she had to escape this building. And obviously her mum was pregnant at the time. Her sister was 10, I think, at the time. These are children, you know what I mean? And her mum had asthma and she's heavily pregnant. She shouldn't be having to be in that position. And obviously with Bernie and Jackie, their brother Ray, who's from Trinidad, and he came over here, you know, I think not during the Windrush, I think just after. And again, this is someone that was disabled. You know, he had developed severe arthritis over time. He couldn't use the stairs. He only could use the lift. The building's on fire. How's he going to get out? And they've put someone who's disabled on the top floor. And I think Bernie tried loads of times over the years to get him to move down or move somewhere more suitable for his condition. It never happened. And then obviously, so we wanted to tell those kind of stories, you know. But also someone like Gray, we didn't do too much of it, but he was massive in the carnival scene. That was his thing. He was very known in the area, but we wanted to just touch on that a little bit, and because we know that this is West London, this is round the corner from where they do carnival all the time. So there were so many things that we wanted to touch on. And then we did, and obviously even like Eddie, you know, every building's got that person that fights for the area, and Eddie was like one of those people that was like always battling the council all the time, years before the fire. So we wanted to have those different voices, and that's why we kind of went about it that way, to make sure that even if we didn't get every single person, this person speaks for so many things, you know. But then when it comes to like picking the stories and the council and everyone else that we sort of spotlighted, it was hard because, you know, you have to give them a right to reply. And then it was a worry of like, oh, what are they going to say? How long are they going to take to reply? But we made sure that everything we were doing was legally sound. And that's a very big thing with any documentary that you make. It could be a documentary about anything. It still gets heavily legaled. But something like Grenfell was even more legal. You know, we had a lawyer in America. We had a lawyer here. It was something that we had to make sure we were... And also because the company took us to America. You know, that company was also based in America. So we just had to make sure that we were covered. But they still have to have a right to reply, and they can say all sorts. That might mean we have to unpick everything that we've been doing over the past year. So there was that worry. But actually, when they replied, it was okay. It was kind of what we knew they were going to say.
That's I think one of my last things is for you personally is that how do you think it affected you? Because you're the director. You're not the producer. You're not the senior producer. You're the director, and you're kind of holding the responsibility of this. Like, how do you think if it did affect you?
It definitely affected me a lot. I think when I finished, I had some time to decompress. I think I was on autopilot for quite a long time. But there were days where it was really difficult. I think actually some of the hardest interviews were the firefighters' interviews. Because it wasn't just those individual stories that they had to deal with. It was also all the other stuff that they were doing. And also they clearly have trauma as well. So I think even when they just arrived for the interview, I felt it. I felt it when it just, you know, it was heavy. And some of the stories they were telling were just so graphic. And it just felt like such a hopeless night. They were doing, you know, CPR on people who have fallen from the building. They're obviously not going to come back. But you're talking about this stuff, and it was in so much detail. And I think when people have gone through trauma and they relayed information, it's very detailed how they give it back to you. And as a director, and you're sitting there interviewing them, you're just taking this all in, and you have to be so poised. And you can't react, you know what I mean? And it was actually, for me as a person who, if my friend's upset, I'll hug them, I'll pull them, or anyone. I'm usually that kind of person. Oh, you're right, blah, blah, blah. It was so hard to not do that in the moment. You have to kind of wait there towards a break or wait till we finished. So the interviews were really hard. And I think Omar was one of them. And Omar lost his brother. And I don't know, someone with 3 brothers, I just felt like, and he was, in his interview at one point, he was reading a poem that he wrote for his brother. And I was mashing myself up. I was like, oh my God, where can I look? I was pinching myself. I was just trying not to react, because you can't help but think about your family when someone's talking about their family. And he had a big family, and his brother was a big part of that family. And I think all of that was just really hard. And I feel like just felt like you were taking a punch every time you did an interview. It was just like you're soaking all of that in. Then you have to go to the edit and relive it again. And then try and bring it down. And that was really hard. And I think it took its toll on me a little bit. I think it caught me off guard when we had to do the viewings. So when we had to show the documentary to the people, to show kind of, so they knew there was no surprises, they knew what was going to be in it. And I think that's when everything came back to me, because when you're sat with them, you're doing those viewings, you kind of feel like you're at a funeral because they're kind of reliving how they lost their loved one or how they almost died. And there's one girl, and it was the girl that the firefighter was looking for, Jessica. And the family did come for a viewing, and that was the first time ever watching anything to do with Grenfell. They deliberately avoided it. They didn't look at the news. They don't watch any documentaries. They just don't. They can't do it. And then obviously they came in because they wanted to see how we were telling her story. And when they came in, I was just like, I really felt like I was going to struggle because the mum was there, dad was there, and they just looked broken. And I can imagine what it feels like to lose your little girl in that way. And then I think it was like the first 2 minutes of the documentary, she was just mum was just screaming. She dropped to the ground, she was on her knees, and they were Colombian, so she was speaking in Spanish and stuff like that, and she was really emotional. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, and I felt like I was doing something to her. I felt really bad, but I felt like they wanted to be here, they wanted to see it, but I didn't even know what the right thing to say was. And then the dad was next to me, and he grabbed me, and he was shaking so much that my body was shaking, and I was like, oh, I just felt like I was feeling all the emotions with them. And I just felt like I just felt like I was at a funeral. I felt like I was at her funeral. And the emotion in the room was, and it stayed that way for the whole viewing. And I felt like it was, but then they were thanking me afterwards. Thank you for doing this. And then that made me more upset. Because I wasn't even thinking about like that. I'm thinking about, are you guys okay? So I think all of that trauma build up to start to really get to me. And I feel like I was struggling to sleep. I just kept catching myself crying all the time. All that stuff was getting to me. And Netflix and Rogan were very supportive, and I got given a lot of support, but I think it was definitely a big story to take on. And I think when you do these sort of stories, and that's why I've tried to avoid them a little bit now since finishing, is that it's not just a job, it's like a responsibility when you tell these stories. So you don't just film with people and then say, oh, well, this is it now, my contract's done, I'll never see you again. Like, they're gonna still talk to you, and you want them to. You don't want to feel like it was a transaction. You want to feel, but that comes with responsibility, that you have to be responsible in how you deal with traumatized people. And I think some people forget that sometimes, but it's really important. But I wasn't prepared for actually how much responsibility that was going to be. So that was what definitely got me.
No, and you know, it is, I think, again, I know we capped already, but listen, the way you guys delivered the documentary covered like the basis in terms of us keeping up with the story, it being emotional, it being informative. Like, I left knowing way more about like the process, those involved, but still keeping it interesting, and keeping my attention and everyone else's attention for that period. It was amazing. So
I'll definitely second that. I think the breadth and depth that you covered was it was amazing, to be honest. I think also just like to end on this note, I think in terms of Grenfell, obviously one of the things you mentioned in the documentary that seemed like a bit of a call to action was initially there was like marches every day, right? And then now it's sort of like
once a
year in March, right? Is there anything else that people can be doing? Because again, these court cases are ongoing. How can people support?
I think what the Grenfell community want is people not to forget about Grenfell. I think, I don't know if you guys saw, they announced they were going to demolish the tower last year. Demolishment started a couple months ago, and it's been happening very quickly. It looks like it's almost halfway already. And I think for a lot of the community, they feel like their story is now being erased because it's not going to be an island anymore. Because when you go to West London, you can always see it. And then soon you'll be able to see it. And people will slowly start to forget, like, oh, it's gone now, and then that's it. And I think they just feel like their story is being forgotten. So all they want is people to keep talking about it, resharing stuff, posting about stuff, like engaging with whatever's going on with them. I think what they experience is actually their story gets tucked away quite a lot. It comes back every now and again when someone's making a documentary or a play, but beyond that, no one talks about it. Or they talk about it around the anniversary. Oh, okay, it's June. Okay, Grenfell's coming. The news does a cycle 2 days before, on the day, maybe a day after, then it's gone. And that's their story. And if you're someone that's lost your whole family, which many of them did, they're thinking, is that all we get every year? It's just a little bit of a news piece and that's it. So I think that's hard to contend with. And I think what they want is for people to just remember and just keep talking about it when they feel like it's appropriate to talk about it. And there's so much that's going on in the world with housing, with building regulations, where you can still talk about Grenfell because actually a lot of those things haven't been resolved yet. And there's still a lot of buildings in the UK that have this cladding still on it. So it's like, it's not impossible that Grenfell can happen again, unfortunately.
With the work I've been doing with housing associations, one of the things that they have mentioned is sort of like the fallout from Grenfell and actually all the new regulations that have come into place since. And obviously things continue to evolve. I think more recently there's like the Ayub's law, which is around like damp, which again, it might not be cladding, but it's just about. And obviously you have people like even Kojo that used to go around different housing communities. in the wake of Grenfell and just looking at sort of like the quality of living and actually trying to get to the bottom of the whole neglect side of things from,
Absolutely, yeah.
from a lot of these associations and their tenants.
And I think some of them are doing okay. Like I went to a screening recently where it was a association in Wales that invited us to come to Wales and they were like they had builders in there, they had housing workers, local a mixture of people in the audience who came to watch the Grenfell film, and they wanted to talk about it afterwards, and they wanted to see what they could do differently about it. And I was really amazed that it's having that kind of impact where all these companies are like using it as a tool to educate their staff, but educate builders that they work with, trades that they work with. So I think there's some that are trying their best. But also it's the government as well. It's not just these little associations. The government oversees everybody in that regard, where they have to be mindful of what they're allowing to happen in the UK. What materials are allowed to be sold and used for building. And I think the issue with Grenfell was that material, as we tried to show in the documentary, should have never been on a high-rise building. The material itself is quite normal. It's actually just whiteboard. So you know, like the whiteboards we get in school, it's the same material. So you think about a whiteboard, you want your building wrapped in that material. It doesn't make any sense. So how does that end up being on a high-rise building? You know, and it's so volatile. So I think there needs to be more attention given to that. And actually, because as a council, it's not. I have friends that work in councils and house associations. You can't know everything.
You can't.
There's some things that you're just not gonna know, and that's not me trying to speak up for them. But I just feel like it's not all on them.
There's wider,
There's a big responsibility across all these different parties.
No, for real.
Hey, listen,
listen.
can't lie. It's been so informative. I feel like so eye opening. And honestly, kudos, man, because
thank you.
Taking on a story that big, and again, you've spoken to the effects that it's had on you. And honestly, like, we're just gonna keep on watching this space because I'm sure we're going to higher heights.
That's nothing actually. Last thing, what else are you working on, Cara? Is there anything that you're working on that you can share
I've got a couple of things that hopefully I'll get in the new year. There'll be it's another Netflix feature doc. I hope.
Come on,
I'm speaking into existence. Hopefully I get it. But it's now starting to pick up again where I'm getting that kind of contacts now.
Okay, cool.
I'm just about to start something for Sky Docs, which is like a series that I'm going to develop with this company, which would be good because I haven't done a series for a little while. And then I just got onto this scheme, and it's called BAFTA Breakthrough. And it's like a year-long or year-and-a-half-long scheme where you're kind of welcomed into BAFTA and you're sort of like mentored and guided, and you get to kind of meet some of the people that you can never meet usually. And you're sort of like, it happens when you've had a breakthrough year, so someone will nominate you and then someone might get it, so you might not get it. But I was lucky enough to get it. And I think I was one of the few people from the documentary space as a whole that got onto it. But then I'm sharing space with people who I can't even, who are like, I feel like are way up above me. So I'm like quite...
You win.
So that's getting announced soon, and that's quite exciting. And I'm looking forward to like what that will do for me going forward.
Hey,
amen.
But no, honestly, man, Laide, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
The original party starter.
Okay, well,
you get me? But yeah, no, kudos, man. Well done, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
But yeah, man, love every single time.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Love.